Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's been way too long since 2020 finished, and we are yet to do our 2020 Wrestling End of Year Awards. So it's the beginning of 2021, but why not? Better late than never. I'm Aaron Nix, and here to discuss the 2020 Wrestling Awards, which we will now be giving out. And of course, we will be getting to your awards as well. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we've got your interactions. Joining me, of course, is regular co-host of the present, Jeremy Miller, and regular co-host of, I guess, long-term and mostly past, because he's had a rough Christmas, bless his soul, he's Carl Wilkinson.
Yes, I'm glad to be back. Sorry, guys, it's been a long time, but I got laid off, so I was just
Where
kind of...
the fuck is your beard?
Dude, I mean, it's kind of back. It's not all the way down here like it was.
Yeah, I bet you instantly regret that decision, didn't you?
I did. I absolutely did. Yeah, I hated it. But
I've got mine down to like a fine kind of trim now, but I made sure that I've still got enough thickness.
Yeah, I mean, mine was so wild. Like, now that I've trimmed it, I can kind of shape it and stuff as I'm going, so it can get that big again, but it won't be so lost in the wilderness with nothing to drink but my own piss wild.
That's definitely a Canadian reference, and ultimately Jeremy's still looking like some cheap Mexican whore. So happy days. And some things never change. The more they change, the more they stay the same. Right, there are, of course, a plethora of award brackets. There is, for everyone listening and watching, best wrestler, worst wrestler, best tag team, worst tag team, most overrated wrestler, most underrated wrestler. Jeremy, keep your hands still. This is not jazz hands theater. He's like, hello, my honey. Hello, my baby. I forgot now. Oh, yeah. Best pay-per-view, match of the year, and most entertaining wrestler. So, yeah. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to get started with... best tag team. Carl Wilkinson, you're in first, as it's been a while since you've been on this podcast. Who is your best tag team in wrestling of 2020? I should point out, ladies and gentlemen, just as a preset, it is whoever you wish to choose. It is not restricted by a certain company either. It could be independent, could be NJPW, could be AEW. The awards span all of wrestling this year because ultimately we can't be asked to do two different shows.
And speaking of all of wrestling, my best tag team, and I'm pretty sure I could see it being a consensus, at least between you and me, it's got to be the North. It has to be Josh Alexander and Ethan Page, not just because I've met them both and they're incredibly nice guys, but the North is just, they were so incredible. I know Ethan Page, I'm pretty sure he's done with Impact now. He had his heart ripped out because people die in Impact. That's just a thing that happens.
In real life and metaphorically as well.
Yeah, they just die. But their tag team run, their title run lasted over a full calendar year. They had incredible matches with everyone, especially when Motor City Machine Guns came back. I popped super hard for that. And now Ethan Page is gone. Josh Alexander is going to go on and be an incredible singles star. If he's not Impact World Champion by the end of the year, we're in a worse year than 2020. Straight up.
Jeremy Miller, your tag team of 2020.
I'm with the consensus. I'm the North. I think Josh Alexander and Ethan Page are, bar none, the best tag team in the modern era. I'm even putting them over the Usos. I'm putting them over God. The North are just that damn good.
Who's God tagging up with? His son?
No, man, Shawn Michaels, 2006.
Ah, yeah.
Jesus
Very
Christ.
good. Very good. Oh, that's the encyclopedic knowledge we've been missing.
That's good. But yeah, the North for sure.
Yeah, I've got the North. I based mine on 2020, not of the all-time modern era, because if we're talking about the all-time modern era, the Usos are still by far and away the best tag team in the modern era, as far as I'm concerned. The North don't have nearly enough of a sample size, but in 2020 alone, you know, the record-setting tag team title run, the plethora of incredible matches, cinematic matches like the one at the Dina compound, not to mention the incredible amount of chemistry, the psychological energy that was brought. Ethan Page alone was so hysterically charismatic on camera, and I really like the juxtaposition of the two characters. The fact that Joshua Alexander is very much the walking weapon. He's very serious. He's a very hard-nosed competitor, and Ethan Page, although being a very credible competitor, is also a bit of a loony, and it worked very well. So
when he sits on the ring apron and Josh Alexander's just behind him, like super serial.
No, just it's good. It works so well. It's kind of a shame because it's looking like it's pretty much done as a tag team, unless they, of course, recombine later down the line in a different company due to Ethan Page's issues now with Impact Wrestling. But yeah, a wise choice from everyone. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into your awards. We're going to read out your awards in full at the end. So if you don't want to hear our awards, which ultimately you should, because obviously I'm going to take Jeremy to task when he ultimately gives Randy Orton his Wrestler of the Year, because I know he's going to. But yeah, although to be fair, if there was one year where he probably has earned it, it was probably 2020, quite depressingly. But yeah, we'll be reading yours out in full and obviously discussing those and having a good chin wag about those at the end as well. So bear with us. Right then, we've had the best in terms of tag teams. How about we have the worst in terms of wrestlers? Let's go straight in with negative. Jeremy Miller. Who do you believe is the worst wrestler you have seen in the year of 2020? Which, by the way, to most people, the consensus is 2020 is the worst year of all time. So therefore, this technically should be the award for the worst wrestler in the history of man and womankind.
Wow, that puts a lot of pressure on me, but I put Peter Avalon. The gimmick sucks.
What? What? The librarian or Pretty Peter?
Both.
I'd just like to point out on AEW Dynamite last week, the man tapped out because he didn't want to get hit in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
He's 2021 off to a banger.
Yeah, the gimmick sucked. He was barely on TV, and when he was, it looked horrible.
Wow, Peter Avalon. That's an interesting one. Carl, before we get to your pick, what do you think about Peter Avalon being Jeremy's pick for the worst wrestler of the year?
I mean, honestly, I haven't watched a lot of Dynamite lately, and I don't watch Dark at all. So if he's on Dark, like, I have no idea, because sometimes they have like 15 matches on Dark. I can't fucking sit down and watch 15 2-minute matches. Sorry. But anytime he's on the screen, I find he's hilarious. I like Peter Avalon. I think it's a ballsy choice, to be sure. But
it's not what I would have expected. I had no clue.
To each their own.
Is it
That's
because
fine,
you've both got the same facial hair and you're ever so slightly jealous that he rocks it better? Because you do kind of look like our version of Peter Avalon. In which case,
no. Absolutely not.
Fair enough. So Jeremy's got a man crush on Peter Avalon. Carl Wilkinson, 2020 was an awful year for all of us. Everybody, ourselves included. Who drew your ire, should I say, more than anyone else in 2020 in the wrestling world?
I mean, when I sent to you, I said Goldberg originally, but I don't think he actually did a whole lot in 2020, to be fair. Like, he had, he lost to Braun, which is funny because Braun's actually my choice. I hate Braun Strowman. He did nothing for me in 2020. Absolutely nothing. He never does. He won the Universal title at WrestleMania. Whoop-de-doo. The best thing he did was get his ass kicked so hard by Roman Reigns, he had to go to Raw. Like, I don't care. He got destroyed. Was it SummerSlam when Roman came back? And then it was the pay-per-view after that he took the pin, because obviously he couldn't pin the Fiend. And then, yeah, he got his ass kicked so hard on SmackDown. He got drafted to Raw, tucked his tail and ran home. I don't care. The Swamp fight wasn't even that good for my money. Like, it was all right, but out of all the cinematic matches I think WWE put on, it was among the worst. Like, it was boring. He's boring. I don't care. He's been off the TV for a while, which is great, and I don't care when he comes back.
Jeremy Miller, your thoughts on Braun Strowman being Kyle's worst wrestler of the year?
I mean, to be fair, Braun Strowman is a Universal Champion, and yes, he's off TV
that belt's
right
got
now.
Loads of credibility.
But I kind of agree with Kyle for not his in-ring problems, but his out-of-the-ring problems and his Twitter. If everybody remembers his Twitter comments from speaking out and all that. So I kind of agree with that, but to say that he's the worst of the worst, I can't agree with that. He's done a lot in the ring. He's at least on TV.
Yeah, see, now, the reason I don't thoroughly disagree with Carl is because for me, your worst wrestler of the year should be on TV and should be regularly there. So it depends, doesn't it? Everyone's going to have a very subjective viewpoint, and ultimately everyone's going to have different guidelines as to what they think is a terrible wrestler. And ultimately, whoever you pick, you're going to upset somebody on social media, because everyone needs to be outraged at all times about something or another. My guidelines are this: they had to be used somewhat, even if it wasn't a huge amount, and they also had to consistently kind of be there. They had to have contributed something, because otherwise I could say a plethora of different guys who never got to even fucking wrestle on TV. I was like, well, I didn't see that guy, so he's worst wrestler of the year. But that's not necessarily the case. For me, the worst wrestler of the year, it comes down to a lot of things. How bad is their promo? How bad is their in-ring skills? Do they just hit me with a level of mundanity that nobody else can, which is why there is only one individual who's always going to be deserving of it this year, and that is Natalya. I am so sick of her face. Her horrible promos, her terrible, the thing is, right, Natalya's not even a bad in-ring competitor, but ultimately she has the same fucking match every time. She never does anything fresh or exciting in the ring. Her promos are terrible. Every single person that she ends up with ends up falling down the pecking order even more. The whole boat thing, best of all time. No, it's because, frankly, you have the tedium and the technical and psychological brilliance of a canal boat. That's why you're the boat, love. I have zero interest in anything, and ultimately this is a gender-free awards package as well, ladies and gentlemen, and for that reason I've gone with Natalya. I was very tempted to pick Tamina, much in the spirit of Steve Neal, who I'm sure if he was here would say Tamina. I just have nothing good to say about what she did in 2020. At no point do I feel like Natalya added any kind of credibility. And bearing in mind, we're talking about the best women's division in the world in WWE and NXT across that board, and she added nothing to that. That's alarming, because even someone like Carmella, for instance, at the back end of the year has been having an excellent rivalry with Sasha Banks. So many women have applied themselves and added something. Even Billie Kay is kind of funny in her current role. People have found some sort of niche, even if they haven't had that much TV time. Even Lana, you have to say, although not fantastic, we all had a good giggle watching her get stuck through a table week after week. And she is redonkulous to look at, if nothing else. Not that should be part of the category, but she's added something. Natalya has added nothing. And that is why Natalya is my worst wrestler of the year. Would you care to discuss, or shall we move to the next one?
I mean, I don't think you can really argue that. I don't hate Natalya. It's probably a bit of the Canadian pride in me. I do think she's still a really good in-ring worker, but she definitely hasn't. You're right. She hasn't added anything new. She hasn't evolved her style at all to kind of match up with the best women's wrestlers in the world. She's no Sasha. She's no Charlotte. She's just kind of. She's there. She can wrestle. She goes into the ring and does what she does bell to bell. But other than that, she's just kind of there. And you never want to just be there when you have, like you said, the best women's division in the world.
Any thoughts, Jeremy?
I think Natalya, her promo does suck. She barely does anything right now, but she seems like she's more.
That's quite apt, isn't
a
it?
locker room leader more than she is trying to be on TV. So I could see
everyone leans on that, though, don't they? Everyone leans on that with Natalya. Oh, well, she's a locker room leader. So was The Undertaker, but every time he came out, he was a god. I'm sorry, but to be a locker room leader, that's great. And I'm sure Natalya has contributed so much backstage. Even on Total Divas, she's fucking terrible on that as well. That's your opportunity to really branch out and be an idiot. You're given a character, a ludicrous, over-the-top personality to play on that as well. And she can't even do that. She's just like, shut up, TJ. I hate you so much, TJ. It's just why are you watching Daniel Bryan matches and not having sex with me? It's you're fucking awful. I'm so sick of it. So sick of looking at her. It's pissing me off. So yeah, I didn't want to give it to Tamina because ultimately I didn't feel like she was on TV enough to warrant it. And also, it's not her fault that her dad's a murderer, allegedly. Well, moving on. Now
that was great.
Killed. I want to know who you think is the most underrated wrestler of the year. Carl Wilkinson, who you got? 2020.
Underrated. I mean, I want to say Adam Page because I don't feel like sure he had that really shitty tag team with Omega, but
What are you talking about? It's the greatest tag team of all time, mate. Did you not see? They had the best tag team wrestling match of all time, apparently, because apparently DIY and FTR and AOP don't exist.
I mean, yeah, DIY and fucking the Revival take over Toronto. Sup, everyone? Saw it live. It was pretty cool.
Fuck you.
But
Yeah,
but
right.
I got to see God versus Aussie Open live. Suck my dick.
Fuck
That's
off.
fair. But I think I have to say Adam Page because again, like he had that shitty tag team. The alcoholic thing was a little but I think the stuff he's doing with the Dark Order right now is fucking hilarious. I think anything he's given, he can still turn to gold. He came out in the Stampede match on a fucking horse because he's a cowboy. That's just what he did. But I think he is so good. The fact that I think he's like what 27, 28 or some shit. Like he's a pretty young guy. And he still has an incredible future ahead of him. I loved him in New Japan. I picked him as a dark horse for my G1. I think it was 27 once. I think it was G1 27. Like, the guy is so good. And if he's, again, this is kind of like Josh Alexander. If he's not AEW champion, maybe not this year, because they can spend the rest of it building him, like, sometime next year, 2022, I think they've definitely got a star on their hands in Hangman.
Good choice. I like that choice, actually. That's a really good choice. Jeremy Miller, thoughts on Hangman Page being Carl's most underrated wrestler of the year? Yay or nay?
Nay.
Nay.
He had his shot.
See what I did there? Because horses go nay.
Nice.
I
like Hangman. I've liked him since he was in Ring of Honor. I don't like him in AEW. He's not getting the push that he deserves. He got his shot going up against Jericho to get that first ever AEW title, and then ever since he's been fucked off. I do like what he's doing with the Dark Order. I think he would fit in with the Dark Order right now because they need a big man again with the passing of John. Rest in peace. But I just the whole thing with Omega chapped my ass. I could not stand them as a tag team. And for them to have the tag titles so long and then them fuck off with the Young Bucks and all that shit. The Stadium Stampede match was okay. I did like that he, rode in on a horse to fit the cowboy image.
Yeah,
but
sitting at the bar with Jake Hager as well. Probably the best thing.
yeah, that was a good one too. But I imagine if Adam Page was in WWE right now or NXT, he'd probably be a champion. Because then he could get matches with like Karrion Kross and at that time Keith Lee and stuff like that. And he would match up with those guys. Where in AEW, it's all a bunch of the boys. It's all about the boys. Kenny Omega right now is the champ. And Hangman's not going to get his chance anytime soon. I don't see it. So
is this talking about chances? Or is it just talking about a guy who's really good and being underutilized? Because that's kind of, I think, what the definition of underrated means.
Yeah, I actually agree with Carl. I do think that Hangman Page is grossly underrated. I think he's also, ironically enough, your argument is that he's underutilized by AEW, but surely that would suggest that he's underrated as well, because they obviously don't rate him enough at this time point. There's definitely problems with AEW. I'm not going to spend hours going on about that because I've spoken about it in regular context on this podcast about how I think the ridiculously long-term booking of Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, I think they will eventually work their way around to Page defrauding Kenny Omega as champion. The problem is that they're taking way too fucking long with it, and I'm bored of waiting. I like feuds, I like long-term ones, but ultimately, if it's going to be a year long and there's going to be 8 months of you not doing really that much, I don't really care. But I do enjoy the stuff with Dark Order. I think it's very funny. It was definitely the highlight of this week's Dynamite by some margin. On a terrible, terrible show. Jeremy Miller, who's your underrated wrestler then?
Jey Uso as a singles competitor. He did.
Explain yourself.
Probably
then I shall dismantle you.
Huh?
Explain it first, then I'll have my say.
I think that him as a singles competitor, everybody thought he was a tag team guy only. with the Usos and with Jimmy. But the stuff that he did with Roman and the stuff that he's doing now with Roman is just lights out. And they don't use him as much as a singles guy. They use him more as a tag team guy. But now that Jimmy's hurt, he's getting that push to the spotlight to where he belongs. And I think Jey Uso is going to be a great singles competitor. And when Jimmy Uso comes back, I don't know if they actually would team back up. I think they'll just, he'll run with Roman for a while and then go on from there.
Kyle?
I mean, I think it's inevitable that the Usos are going to get back together, be it under Roman or not. I mean, like we've said, they're the best tag team of the modern era. There's just no way they won't. At least for a little, sure, they might split up eventually, but whenever Jimmy's good to come back, I think they're all going to be under Roman, and they're just going to kick some ass. But we all knew he was a great competitor because of the tag stuff he did. I think not thinking he would be like that as a singles guy is kind of short-sighted. I mean, he's such an incredible performer. And the stuff he's doing with Roman, especially at Hell in a Cell, I thought that was a masterpiece. Absolutely incredible storytelling. And just everything he's doing is just brilliant. I don't think anyone expected it to be as good as it was. I'll give you that. But I don't think anyone expected him to shit the bed.
Yeah, I think that's why I disagree with your pick, because ultimately for him to be underrated as a singles guy, that would be ultimately even he doesn't know he's a singles guy until Jimmy Uso gets injured. He's always been a tag team wrestler. He's part of the best tag team in the world, in my opinion. I don't think they'll break him up. I think you're leaving money on the table if you do that. If they do, then they're stupid, ultimately, especially with the way their tag team division is right now. It's sorely lacking serious contenders with injuries across the board. Like I say, everyone's entitled to a pick. For me, the problem is that obviously Jey Uso has literally, since he's had to be a singles guy, has been fantastic. Pretty much since just after Mania, he has been, rampaging around. He's called Main Event Jay now, isn't he? So I don't think he's underrated in the sense that the company has put him on many, many main events, especially involving, Roman, of course, on pay-per-view. Like Carl says, that's storytelling masterpiece. That's easily the rivalry of the year, which I refrained from putting on the awards bracket actually this year. For me, that's the rivalry of the year, Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns. But yeah, my underrated wrestler, for me, what this means is how much are they utilized over the year, especially when they're available. See, and that's why Jey Uso doesn't really click with me, because ultimately, he's only had to be a singles wrestler when he's been asked to, and he's done a great job of it. So for me, I can only think of one guy that I truly believe doesn't get enough. And even though he's kind of in main event storylines right now, I still feel like 2020, especially until right at the end, he was so underrated, so underutilized. He had some of the best matches of the year. Kevin Owens is easily the most underrated wrestler of 2020, arguably the most underrated wrestler in the world, period. His promos are arguably some of the best in the world. His wrestling style is some of the best I've seen. His in-ring work. He is one of the best in-ring talkers. The best psychology of wrestling comes from Kevin Owens, arguably. He has everything you want, other than the fact that he doesn't have a shiny six-pack, which is probably the only reason he is not pushed to the fucking moon and is not already a 10-time Universal Champion, is because of the way he looks. But ultimately, nobody can say they relate to anyone more than Kevin Owens as well, because we all kind of look a bit like Kevin Owens. We have some sort of thing in common with him. He's a family man. He's a good human being. He's humanitarian. He loves animals. Yes, we know you are wearing the merch. Well done, sir. And ultimately you should, because his merch is great as well. He's one of the few people that has good merch in that fucking company. Everything he does is fantastic. I am yet to remember Kevin Owens having a bad run of any sort since he came in as NXT champion and squared up to John Cena. And yet we talk about him as what? One-time Universal Champion, where he's derailed in 52 seconds by Goldberg. Other than that, he's had no real legitimate main event title contention. He's now in a rivalry with Roman Reigns, and I feel like that's circumstance more than it is talent. You can't tell me that they have said Kevin Owens is easily one of our best talents. Let's put him in there with Roman. No, it's a stopgap until they get somebody else to come in and take that belt off him. Most likely Brock Lesnar. I still maintain that's probably what's going to be the case. For me, Kevin Owens is world class, but not enough people realize he's world class. And that, for me, personifies what underrated is. As an honorable mention, I did have Baron Corbin written down as well, because I cannot find anyone who does a better job of actually doing his fucking job than Baron Corbin, who is a world-class heel. But I opted for Kevin Owens because he is just on another level. But he isn't treated or seen like that guy who is on another level. And that, for me, is the epitome of what underrated is.
The fact that he hasn't had a world title run since 2017 is mind-boggling to me. Again, it's always a toss-up between Kevin Owens and AJ Styles as to who is my favorite wrestler ever, because they're just both so incredible. Like, I'm sure you guys talked about fucking his counter to Ricochet into that Styles Clash on Raw was fucking unreal. Like, no one else could do that except maybe Kevin Owens. I'm sure he could fucking pound him into a pop-up powerbomb or something. But he was the last credible Universal Champion, in my opinion, until maybe The Fiend. I haven't decided yet, but definitely Roman now. Because we all know the Universal title's lineage has been shaky at best, I think we could call it. But his run in 2017 or late 2016 till Fastlane, when, old man Goldberg decided to fucking ruin the parade, that piece of shit that could still turn me into a ball of mush and murder me. But he's still waiting on that reply, Goldberg. Offered him out for a fight for charity. Nothing. Fucking pussy.
Yeah, we were talking about 2-on-1 handicap match. Maybe we'll make it a 3-on-1.
Exactly. I'm gonna toss Jeremy in first and run away. That's what's gonna happen.
Cannon fodder. We're done.
It'll be one of those things. Jeremy, I'll be like, yeah. Tag out and then just run it. It'll be brilliant. Or I'll just do what Kevin Owens was doing until Chris Jericho interfered and just keep running around the ring, refusing to get in. So. Yeah, although he'd probably still do me on cardio as well. I might just bring the horses with me and have him stampeded. Fuck it. Any thoughts on any of that, guys? Jeremy, you got any thoughts on Kevin Owens being underrated?
I agree. Kevin Owens is underrated. Kevin Owens has been underutilized, underused, and just ridiculously overlooked. And I know, obviously, he's not going to win the title at Royal Rumble over Roman, because that would just be
best thing ever.
What we want, right? That would be what we want, and the McMahons don't give us what we want, even though they say they
like
do.
what I say you like.
Yeah, but yeah, Kevin Owens, that's a great shout.
Yep. Go on, lads. I'm going to let you pick one. What would you like to do next? You can each pick one. Kyle, what would you like to do next?
I want to do most entertaining.
Most entertaining, the Ricki B Award, which is, of course, named after my beloved and dearly departed friend, Richard Bremmer, who passed away a couple of years ago from a heart disease, a heart defect that was not actually found at the precious age of just 32 years old. And a reminder to everyone out there that just because you are of a younger age does not mean your heart should not be checked. Please check out CRY, Cardiac Risk of You. I think it's the Cardiac Risk in the Youth, which is a very important charity over here in particular that works on finding screenings for younger people for their heart checks, because they're ultimately not afforded to people on the current healthcare system until they reach a certain age, or they're obviously under a certain immune issue. The reason it's named after him, not just because he passed, but also because he loved The Rock and he was obsessed with entertaining wrestlers, which is why every year we have this award in his name. So, Carl Wilkinson, you wanted to do the most entertaining wrestler of 2020. Who is your most entertaining wrestler of 2020?
I mean, we just spent the last 10 minutes talking about it, but it's got to be Kevin Owens, because he's just, I know a lot of people, I'm sure maybe one of you guys might say MJF, which I would understand, but Kevin Owens for me, like I said, he's so funny on the mic. Like, everything he says, I just pop for. Like, when Adam Pearce was like, oh, I have a replacement because I hurt myself. Just like the stupid little smirk on Kevin's face. He's like, yeah, that's right. It's me, bitch. We're going to do this again. I love it. His in-ring talking, especially when before the Thunderdome, when they had no crowd, it was just like dead silent, and you could still hear Kevin. He was just always so good. Like his trash talk is unreal. It is top notch, best of the best. He's just and his Twitter game always hilarious. Like something about the WWE Network being sold to NBCU today or some shit. Like he made a joke about that. It's unreal. The guy is just so incredibly funny. I can relate to him so much, and that's why he's my most entertaining guy of 2020.
I like that pick. I really do. One of the do you know what I like about Owens? The little things that people don't pick up on. For a while, he was going through this phase on Raw many moons ago, where every time he got someone in a headlock, he would scream to the audience, "Headlock master!" And I was just like, just little things like that pop me so much. I went to a SmackDown show in the UK, and obviously this was during when it was still taped on a Tuesday and then aired on a Friday. And Renee Young, they were really struggling to sell tickets for SmackDown because ultimately nobody gave a shit. Everyone went to Raw, that always sold out. They could not sell tickets that well at the O2 Arena. And bearing in mind, we don't get nearly as much wrestling as you guys do, and that speaks volumes about how bad it was at the time. But Kevin Owens was on SmackDown. He was kind of crossing over because it was at the time when there was no brand split either. And Renee Young's going, "Ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, we still have spare tickets going for tomorrow. Please come tomorrow. We badly need to." And she was like selling, everyone was booing the poor woman. Like, just being like, boo, because they were just like, nobody gives a shit about SmackDown. Fuck you. And it's like Renee by proxy has to take the abuse on behalf of WWE. And Kevin Owens was in the ring waiting for his match. And it was during one of these sort of commercial timeouts that they do. And he just grabbed the mic and he went, "If you want an incentive, I'm going to be there." The whole crowd. Yes, like he was so good at making you smile. He still is. He's so good at it. So I think that's a great pick. Jeremy Miller, who is the most entertaining wrestler of 2020?
Asuka on commentary.
Ooh.
Even though you could barely understand her, it's just the sheer.
Racist.
No. It's just the
You haven't taken the time to learn Japanese like the rest of it.
I'm sorry, I forgot my Japanese English dictionary at home.
You're at home, you uncultured swine.
Yeah, exactly. Just because Donald Trump didn't get back in for a second term doesn't mean you have to take it out on the rest of the world.
Oh, Christ.
America's taken enough out on Japan. You terrible, terrible
Those
person.
Biden memes must be like fucking anti-catnip to you. You must be like, just got to get angrier and angrier every time you see them.
Oh, fuck.
Explain
Okay.
himself then. Asuka on commentary is the most...
Asuka on commentary is just
on
hilarious. Because... What?
Just on commentary. That's alone is what makes her the most entertaining wrestler of 2020.
No, it's
see how much
Asuka altogether is entertaining. Asuka on commentary is hilarious, especially during promos too. But when she's on comms and like, especially when I think it was Andrade was in the ring and she was just going crazy and just like dancing at the commentary table, and they're just like, "What is going on with her? Why is she dancing?" Okay, it's Asuka. I mean, she's just so good at what she does. And then, of course, her ring, what she does in the ring is just bar none.
Yeah, nobody's going to debate that. Not a bad choice, actually. I think, I don't think that her stuff on commentary was big enough of a sample size to warrant that award. I'm surprised, actually. I had you nailed down as MJF. Nailed down. I thought MJF was going to be your pick, or Randy Orton, because nobody cuts a promo like Randy Orton wearing a nappy. Oh, sorry. I mean, a lucha mask. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because when you get your face burnt, ultimately your eyebrows should always survive such an ordeal. This was difficult for me because obviously I like to honor Rich the right way and take it semi-serious. Well, I take all my awards seriously, actually, because I'm a very serious guy. I did want to pick MJF, but I thought, everyone's going to pick MJF, so I didn't pick him. And I went for something really left field and something I think Rich in particular would appreciate, because he was a very short guy, but he had a very big, powerful stature. He was actually a highly credible and very successful rugby player, and played a very high-level rugby in this country. I've gone with Akira Tozawa. Really out of left field. Because, first of all, nobody gives a shit about him. We know that. WWE doesn't give a shit about him. But I honestly, and this, I'm very much in the minority. I know this. I think the ninjas are fucking hilarious. I think it's the best thing I've seen all year. It's so funny. It's so ridiculous. By the way, if John Silver had been the way he is now all year, I would have picked John Silver in AEW. Just so you know.
I was gonna say that's what I thought you were gonna go
Yeah,
for.
when you said
left
small, I thought
not enough. And I feel like Akira Tozawa has been doing this nonsense for the best part of the year now. The ninjas were hilarious from the moment they turned up. And yeah, it is slightly racist, I suppose, because it's like, you're Japanese, put a ninja outfit on, you piece of shit. But this is a guy who was involved in a 24/7 title change in a bin and made it hilarious. Like 24/7, a title changed hands in a bin. Like, and he made that funny. His stuff with Drew Gulak is incredible. Drew Gulak, even the thing is as well, even when he hasn't technically been on screen, the guy got eaten by a shark on Raw, okay? Nobody else can really say they've done that this year and still fucking survive and come back. Even the stuff from the ninjas, like Drew Gulak using the ninja outfit to jump R-Truth dressing up as a ninja. We even got, I think it might have been Omos, who was a ninja as well. He kind of got his break as, a ninja, and it was just, everything was funny. And the most forgotten about match of the year has got to be that cinematic between the Viking Raiders and Street Profits when the ninjas jump them and they join their alliance to take them on in this ridiculously over-the-top kung fu battle. That stuff's funny. And in a year that was fucking miserable, he never stopped making me laugh. And I've always said this well beyond 2020 and well before that. Akira Tozawa is one of the very few Japanese talents, on the male side of things at least, who's been able to adapt himself beautifully to a sports entertainment scenario. Who can forget him pretending to be Vince McMahon on 205 Live? It's fucking gold. There was also the video that went viral of him where you thought he was masturbating in his bed, and then when it pulled it back, he was actually doing some sort of martial arts. It's just ridiculous. I was like, you are a funny motherfucker. He's hilarious. I find him so entertaining, and I know Rich would piss his pants laughing at him because he's just such an idiot. And yeah, to be fair, this was quite a difficult one this year. There were a lot of guys who I thought really stood out. MJF was very good throughout the year, probably the best promo, let's be honest, as a heel, and very hilarious as well. I think Jericho, until he kind of went off the rails at the back of the year, was doing so well in terms of entertainment. John Silver is fantastic, but again, short sample size. Asuka was hilariously entertaining, but again, too small of a sample size for me. So yeah, Akira Tozawa, probably my most left field pick of the year, but I'm very proud of that pick and I stand by it. I also wanted to make an honorable mention for R-Truth and Drew Gulak, who alongside him were magnificent.
Yeah,
Drew Gulak, hilarious. And also, it really hurt me to say this, actually. I have on my list, I got 5 guys here, and the guy who I really wanted to pick, but I didn't, just because they kind of derailed him at the back of the year, is Otis, who was hilariously good fun as well. I love Otis so much. So, yeah, and he was just another guy. It was very difficult. If I had the choice, I would have picked quite a few people. I even would have picked Baron Corbin because I find him hilarious, particularly when he's pulled out on a throne and he's got all those, suspiciously homoerotic men dragging him down to the ring. I think it's good times. But I'm going to stick with Akira Tozawa. Any thoughts, lads? Or should we move on to the next award, which Jeremy Miller's going to pick?
I mean, I love the 24/7 division. Like, the title itself, I couldn't give a shit about, but like all the antics that happened with it. And Akira Tozawa has done incredible work. I love the R-Truth honorable mention because I think at the start of the year, Brock's in the ranks with Paul Heyman going, yeah, we're going to defend the title. And R-Truth comes out to declare himself for the Royal Rumble. And then Brock just stares him down and he's like, I undeclare myself. And you see Brock corpse in the ring. You see him start to piss himself because R-Truth is just because he's just such a tool. But it's incredible. But Akira Tozawa, again, if he got eaten by a shark and has lived to tell about it.
Has any of your picks been eaten by a shark? I think not.
Brock Lesnar F5 to Shark, if we remember that, like 2003.
Yeah, Sharknado.
Oh, yes. That's a good one.
Tailor-made for Sharknado, and he really should be in there. Jeremy Miller, you have the opportunity now to pick the next award that you would like to select. You are aware, of course, of what awards are left, right?
Yes, I am aware.
Okay.
I'll do overrated wrestler.
Here we go.
And I choose the mimosa drinking piece of shit that is Orange Cassidy. I'm not going to lie. When he came from, I watched him on the Indies, and I liked the gimmick with the whole putting his hands in his pockets and fighting and all that good jazz. It was cool on the Indies. On mainstream TV, it is a joke. Tony Khan wants to pimp him out like a fucking dirty whore, and
I like it.
I can't stand Orange Cassidy. He's my overrated wrestler of the year.
Great stuff. Carl, any thoughts? And also, who have you got?
I can understand why people say that because, like, we've said it on the show in the past before that Tony Khan is definitely sucking Orange Cassidy's dick. He's getting some of that vitamin C out of that vitamin D. You know what I mean? But
oh yeah, bigger than that.
But I mean, I don't think it's totally Tony Khan though. I think Cassidy is getting himself over with this bullshit gimmick. Like, he definitely shouldn't be doing it against Pac. We remember the match against Pac, and that was just stupid. We know Cassidy can work because after, he got serious, he could do some incredible things. Like, I don't think I could do a drop kick and kip up with my hands in my pocket. I could. I'm fat. I'm not doing that. But I can definitely understand why people don't like it. I still think it's kind of funny, but he doesn't deserve to be like a TNT champion or anything, He's just he's definitely, I think this act will forever be suited to like upper mid card, maybe. Like, he'll never break through that Vince McMahon glass ceiling that's just in every company. Like, he'll never break that limit, I think, until either something changes or Tony Khan gives him a rim job.
Now there's a match I want to see. He's making an impact.
Fuck.
Who do you think is the most overrated wrestler of 2020 then, Carl?
I mean, mine also comes from AEW, and he just kind of happens to be the current AEW World Champion. It's Kenny Omega, baby. I don't give a shit. I like Kenny Omega. I loved him in Japan, but I just I don't care. The stuff he's doing, like the fact that he's an Impact is a huge boon for Impact. Like, I'll never deny his star power. The stuff he's doing with Don Callis right now, I think, is pretty good. And the fact that he gets to hang out with the Good Brothers again is great. But he's just one of the boys, and he has the world title. Like, you remember when Vince McMahon won the WWF title? He gave it up after a day because he's like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I mean, sure, he was ECW champion, but no one remembers that because it was stupid. It doesn't. I don't care. His in-ring work has always been phenomenal, but I think his promos have always been a little weak. Don Callis is carrying him right now, I think, because Don Callis is incredible. And it just bothers me, like I said, that one of the boys, like one of the guys in upper management, just has a stranglehold on the world title, just as much as they did with the tag team titles for like 6 months.
Jeremy Miller, your thoughts on Kenny Omega being Carl's most overrated wrestler of the year?
Let's see. I like Kenny Omega. What he's doing in AEW right now is shit. But his in-ring work is just too good to put him as an overrated wrestler. He has had matches with Pac. He has had matches with Moxley. He has had beautiful matches with Rey Fenix, Pentagon.
I demand that you announce John Moxley in the correct manner, please.
I'm sorry. John Moxley.
Vince McMahon doesn't do it. What?
Hey, that's still not good enough, ladies and
gentlemen. What do you want me to do it?
Moxley!
There it is.
Justin Roberts, baby. Pay attention. The best thing about AEW is that fucking call. That's the only thing I like.
That's the equivalent of Tony Chimmel doing the Rated R Superstar for Edge.
I told you.
I think those are on par.
Remember when I can't remember what podcast it was. It wasn't that long ago where I came up with a theory that the reason he announced it that way is because he was announcing it fairly normally, and then so Tony Khan was like, "Yeah, we need to spice it up. He's our champion. Make sure he's announced the right way." And I reckon Justin Roberts, like, was kind of on the shitter. I reckon they have communal shitters, right? And he was sitting there and he was thinking, how can I do this? How can I do this better? And there's loads of other wrestlers on the other cubicles. Orange Cassidy's obviously consistently having a shit because he's always laying a turd in somewhere or another. And he's just sitting there thinking, maybe if I announced it. And then literally as he went to announce it, he just fucking curled out a monster. And he was just like, oh, yeah. And that's how it stuck. It just stuck from there, and everyone else was like, "Oh, that's such good shit." Quite literally, it would turn out.
It almost reminds me when he does Moxley's introduction. It reminds me of what he did with John Cena when he was in
Cena.
Yeah.
But
he just put
critique, didn't he? Have you seen his interview where he said that apparently Vince McMahon used to clobber him for being too over the top? Saying, "Oh, you're trying to get yourself over, you piece of shit." And that's why he does it the way he does, because Tony lets me do whatever I want because Tony's so lovely. I love you, Uncle Tony.
I love when he licks my butthole.
Christ.
There's an
wow.
This idea of him, Justin, and like Orange Cassidy, like rubbing each other's bum holes.
Just having a cornhole train. Yeah.
All aboard the human centipede.
Jesus.
I'm so glad you picked Kenny Omega because it means I get to pick my number 2 pick instead. Because
I got you, babe.
And my number 2 pick is going to alienate probably a good half of our audience because the most overrated talent this year for me is AEW's fans.
Oh!
I am so sick of you acting all fucking high and mighty about how fantastic. By the way, I don't give a shit that you hate me. I don't. You can call me whatever you like. I have Millwall fans gunning for me on Jeremy's podcast. You think I give a shit?
Breakfast!
Fat monkeys. No, I do not, right? Okay. Some of my best friends are AEW fans. It's like I'm attacking the gays. Some of my best friends are AEW fans. But ultimately, I'm so sick of you going on social media acting like you're all fucking holier than thou, that you've never tweeted anything so rude and obtrusive, that you've never had a thought that might be slightly controversial, that you're so left-leaning, and also the fact that you're so fucking stupid and naive to the product in front of you. Even when AEW is good, you know, all they ever do is go on, I watch AEW because it's more wholesome than WWE, because they're not as racist as WWE, because there isn't a megalomania. Oh, we don't have a Trump supporter as our owner. Wrong again. Tony Khan and his father contributed a large amount of money to the Trump administration to help ensure he would become president back in 2016. So, you know, feel free to Google that and do your fact checking yourself. But ultimately, I'm sick and tired of your toxic and cancerous nature on the internet, because all you do is bang on about how everyone sucks off WWE, blah, blah, blah. But you use exactly the same smear tactics that WWE fans do to shit on the opposition. Nobody in their right mind who knows even the slightest thing about wrestling can tell me that NXT is a bad product. You can tell me it's not your cup of tea, you prefer Dynamite, and that's absolutely fine because everyone's entitled to an opinion. But when you actively go on and say, yeah, well, our women's division is better than theirs, you are quite literally retarded. And I'm not going to have that fucking nonsense. I'm not going to fucking listen to it in my airspace. It is frankly obnoxious, and I'm sick of everyone acting as it. I mean, I could argue AEW is the most overrated thing of all time because it is. It's fine, but it is not the be-all and end-all. And the only reason that people love AEW as much as they do, and they love the wrestlers as much as they do, and this will really fucking hurt because ultimately I can handle the truth. I know there's a lot of things wrong with me, but you people can't. The truth is that you like AEW so much because you relate to a lot of their characters, because they're all fucking average at best too. Ultimately, when you see someone like Orange Cassidy, you know that you can do a lot of that stupid shit. We can all put on a pair of jeans and pretend that we don't give a fuck. We can all come out looking like, you know, a retarded egg like Luther does with some whack face paint on us. You know, we can all do the Serpentico thing with gay shit coming out of us. It takes a lot of skill to be like a Drew McIntyre, to be like so many other talents. It takes a lot of skill actually to be like some of the AEW talents, Proud and Powerful. And that's what fucks me off about it, is that you've genuinely got some of the world's best talents. Proud and Powerful should have been everybody's tag team of the year. Turns out they didn't do fuck all this year because Tony Khan has got a massive chubby on for being the elite, which by the way is also hilariously overrated. I don't hate anything about AEW, but when you actively go out of your way to go on social media and act as if that is the only thing that's wonderful in the world, it's funny, isn't it? You know, when speaking out here, they were so forgiving of Jimmy Havoc and Sammy Guevara and their behavior, but I can guarantee if a WWE wrestler had made a joke about rape, they would have fucking torn the house down, and they would not have let that individual forget it until they were fired. Use the same energy and the consistency with everybody else. For that reason, I wanted to use this platform to say AEW fans fucking piss me off. This all-inclusive bullshit as well drives me crazy. Do I believe in life and the average walk of life that everyone should have the opportunity to be all-inclusive? Of course I fucking do. I don't want to see anyone rejected from whatever it might be, a restaurant, a coffee shop, a cake shop. It doesn't matter what it fucking is, a business, an opportunity to work. But when it comes down to AEW and wrestling, yeah, sure, it should be all-inclusive. But if you're terrible, you shouldn't be allowed to be on the TV. Not because, oh, everybody's allowed to have 10 minutes of fame. Oh, everybody's allowed to be good. Everyone should have a competitive match. No, they shouldn't, actually. Do you feel so? Are you the kind of people who watched the 90s WWF and thought that a Brooklyn Brawler and the Goon should have had 15-minute classics with Vader and Shawn Michaels? No, nonsense. People have their places in society. Ultimately, when you go to work, are you all the fucking managing director? No, you're not. Because somebody needs to be in that position because they have the necessary and requisite tools and you don't. It's as simple as that. So ultimately, I don't mind seeing jobbers. I don't mind seeing enhancement talents. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of people telling me that stuff is good when it's not. I've seen people trying to argue that horrible fucking tooth and nail match was on a par with Firefly Funhouse. It's not even close. Grow up. It's pathetic. Are they of the same ilk? Yes. But one is actually done well, and the other one was pure AIDS. It's as simple as that. I'm tired of hearing it. AEW and their fans are the most overrated thing I've seen all year. And I am the man who spent £1,200 flying to Washington to see the first ever Dynamite. So don't tell me that I've just got a jolly on and I hate AEW and that I'm basically British Cornette. Although I am in many ways.
I mean, I know I've said this before, but I know the reason you get so worked up when Dynamite is bad is because you did that. You flew across the ocean.
It's cancerous.
To come watch something you absolutely could not wait for and loved, and to see it just go down the shitter is heartbreaking. Because
and
you
also
want
it's
to be
divisive.
good.
What pisses me off the most is the device. Sorry, your mic's a little bit rubbly, by the way. Just want to give you a shout. That's right, mate. Ultimately, for me, like it's the divisive nature of it because all we ever do is fucking whinge on about how cancerous wrestling fans are. They're all the same. We even are probably guilty of it in some form or fashion, but I like to think I give measured and honest opinions. And if you go back and watch my Dynamite review on YouTube, this very channel, I believe not a single point I've made is too over the top. I believe that those are valid points, and I've asked people to debate me on it, and nobody can debate me on it. And this is the classic thing. Do you know what it is? Debating wrestling with an AEW fan is like trying to debate with a flat earther that the earth is round. You're not going to get anywhere because these retarded people have their own feelings and thoughts on the world. And ultimately, you can't change that opinion. I don't want to change people's opinion, but when they actively think that their product is superior to everybody else's when it's clearly not, it's just fucking boring to listen to. And I'm bored of turning on my Twitter every day and seeing another thing about, ratings don't matter. But they do if we win. Fuck off. Pick one position to stand in and stick with that position. Don't flip and flop and move the goalposts every single time to suit your argument because you look like a fucking child. And that's basically what it is. When you debate wrestling with the majority of AEW fans, you are debating wrestling with children.
Just like what you like.
That's
like
it.
It doesn't
they're
matter.
the ones who make that argument, aren't they? They're the ones
exactly.
who make, this is why I'm angry about it. Because it's you, AEW fans, who spend your time on social media saying, oh, I just want to like what I like. Well, then shut up and watch it then. And stop fucking going on about how much you hate WWE NXT all the time. Or, oh, WWE does this. And also the social media virtue signaling. I've got to make sure that I tweet that I don't like WWE. People need to know that I don't watch NXT. Oh, I don't watch WWE. I don't give my money. So I'd rather give my money to Tony Khan because he's a good. Yeah, great, because he'll probably take that money, wipe his ass with it, and then hand it over to some ginger megalomaniac in America. Congratulations. Also, his sports franchises are a fucking pile of shit. I'm so tired of it. He's a bad businessman. He's a bad businessman who does bad. He makes bad decisions, but you want to defend those. But ultimately, Vince McMahon, who I think is a piece of shit of the highest order, has made billions based solely on the wrestling business. Tony Khan hasn't made jack shit. He's using daddy's fucking checkbook. So stop acting, and that maybe that's why you all relate to him as well, because you all live in your dad's basements ultimately, and want if all your success comes from that. It's pathetic, That meme with the big fat guy from the South Park episode. That's an AEW fan right now. That's
I mean, from the episode "Make Love Not Warcraft," which is one of the best
Exactly.
South Park episodes.
yeah, absolutely. So
Just laying back with fucking Doritos on his chest, drinking some Mountain Dew. Yeah.
And ultimately, if AEW fans have such a big problem with this, why don't you take your own advice and not pay attention to us then? If you just like what you like, don't listen to this shit. Simple as that, really. And it's not every AEW fan. I've actually spoken to some fantastic people who watch AEW, who like it, who are willing to debate properly like adults and discuss things like an adult and share their opinions on the fact. But from what I've seen, the majority of the people that use the social media are just cancerous in their nature. Let's move on to something a bit more positive, as in, who was the worst tag team of the year?
Ooh, I like
Who's
that.
the worst tag team of the year, Kyle?
Cesaro and Nakamura.
Oh, yes!
Because these are two guys that should be good. We've said this for years, especially with Nakamura.
Cesaro is in Ring of Honor, mate, so clearly he's the greatest wrestler that ever lived.
And Nakamura carried New Japan for 3 years. He should be great. And
So did
not.
so did Kojima, the guy who likes bread. That doesn't mean I want him in my main event at WrestleMania, innit?
These two guys, I don't care. I know you've specifically harped on Nakamura because of how good he was and what he is now. He's not. When he won the 2018 Royal Rumble, I was so fucking hyped because we're like, you just know they're gonna give us something that we want to see, and we're gonna get Nakamura AJ Styles at WrestleMania. And then that rivalry went on for 5 months, and it was circled around who could kick each other in the dick. And
No,
what?
no comment. No comment.
Oh, do you remember
so
that? Me no speak English.
English.
Fuck was that?
Oh.
I mean, I remember when you go back to the good times of Jinder as champion and him destroying Nakamura's undefeated streak on the main roster.
Those were heady days.
We'll never get those days again.
Yeah, and they had the nerve to fucking say that fucking Jinder Mahal was racist, which he was, I suppose. Well, the promo that he was given was racist. I don't think Jinder Mahal actively has any problem with Japanese people.
No, I bet you're not.
Yeah,
but sure, Nakamura and Cesaro were tag team champions. That doesn't mean they're good. It means SmackDown has 2 tag teams. Those are your choices. It was either the New Day, which at the time, because before the brand split, it was either the New Day, whom I love, Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, or were they still on Raw? I think they might still have been Raw at the beginning of the year because they came over in the draft. Yeah. And then I honest to God can't think of any SmackDown tag teams. So it's just Nakamura, Cesaro, and the New Day. I've seen Cesaro fight the New Day probably 200 million times.
Wasn't Lucha House Party on SmackDown at that time?
I don't count Lucha House Party.
that's not a tag team. That's just some midgets in a mask.
I don't care about either guy. I want to, but honestly, the time has long passed for either of them to get a significant singles run. So they'll probably just be stuck in this nowhere tag team forever because there's nothing else for them. Sure, Nakamura, maybe people think he had a face here just because his old music came back on SmackDown a few weeks back. I didn't realize that new music instantly meant we have to cheer for him now. Is that a thing? I haven't watched wrestling in a while. Did I miss something? Is that like a new thing now?
Don't know. No
Okay,
idea.
cool. But I still don't care.
Though, is it? Let's be honest.
No. I mean, do we get a Nakamura Cesaro feud? Because I don't care about that either.
Do you know why Nakamura fans love that music so much? Because that's ultimately the best thing he's ever had is that music. And it's the same reason why everyone still faps furiously over Bobby Roode, because if you take Glorious away, he's got nothing.
I don't even care about Glorious. I care about the Glorious bombs that DIY was doing. The peak of Bobby Roode's
That's what I care about.
I mean, I like Bobby Roode. He's literally from my hometown. So it's always cool to see him succeed. I know he's tag champ right now. But the best thing his WWE career has ever done is DIY photobombing on his entrance theme.
Yeah, it was.
And that says a lot.
Who's the worst tag team of the year, Jeremy?
I'm also with Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Because these two should not be a tag team. They should be doing actual fucking wrestling singles.
That's what
we should be seeing. We
Not
need
gonna
to
happen
see
anymore.
Cesaro get a title run at least
Never
once.
gonna happen.
Cesaro is one of the favorites for the Rumble this year.
No, I don't see it.
He's getting a big push, isn't he, on SmackDown? He's been winning loads of singles matches. You know, he beat Dolph Ziggler.
Nakamura got a good push too in that gauntlet.
Yeah, they think that Nakamura might be getting slowly built back again as well. The thing with Nakamura, what you brought up in Nakamura, Carl, which I really love, is the fact that they gave us what we wanted, and it wasn't very good. They gave us what we wanted. What did we whinge on about? We don't want to see Brock Lesnar. Thinking we want to see AJ Styles and Nakamura. I stayed on and watched that. I fell asleep during that match. And I had to rewatch the rest of Mania the next day. Turns out I missed a 10-year-old win the tag titles.
Hey, Nicholas beat Rene Dupree for that fucking honor of being the youngest title holder. Because
Yes,
for
he
some
did.
reason I know that.
Yeah, as if Rene Dupree didn't have it bad enough being fingered by JBL on a regular basis, and he then lost his only fucking claim to fame to a 10-year-old.
I still remember Rene Dupree and Fifi.
Was that his dog?
Yes.
Yeah, it was his dog. Yeah, and then he used to tag with Kenzo Suzuki. Do you remember that? And Kenzo Suzuki had that woman who was like had to do as he said at all times, and then she ended up
She was like a geisha woman.
Yeah, and then she took her geisha off once because John Cena was trying to hit on her. Because good guy John Cena was like, hey, I remember he like spanked her or something. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? That SmackDown was bad. 2004. It doesn't matter. Eddie Guerrero won the WWE title. That was a bad year for wrestling. That's what I've learned. It was beautiful for about a month, and then it just went to shit.
I feel like 2003 to 2000, the beginning of 2005, like those 2 years, were great.
We needed Vince McMahon to tear both his quads to reset the world.
The best image in the world is him with his hands on his hips and just like screaming at everyone. It's
fucking
like...
brilliant. No selling 2 torn quads. I'll say one thing about Vince: he's one bad motherfucker. To be able to no sell that kind of pain is astonishing. That's what fucking ketamine and rape does for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Best wrestler of the year, Vince McMahon.
Yeah, 2005, best wrestler of the year.
Yeah, 2005. Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
honestly, it's probably the adrenaline though. Like just because he was so mad, that just the adrenaline for a second. Because I think you see at some point like the camera switch, and you see like they're just like dragging him. Like his legs are just dead. He's got his arms over like 2 refs are just dragging him out because he literally can't walk.
It's fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in wrestling history is him tearing his quads. The worst tag team of the year. Yeah, I thought Cesaro and Nakamura sucked, but they're not my choice. For me, first of all, they're not a tag team, so they can't get worst tag team of the year. I refuse to acknowledge them as a tag team. To be the worst tag team, you have to actually be a tag team. Now, I did dabble with anyone who dared to even enter a ring with Marco Stunt as the worst tag team of the year. But I went for a different tag team in AEW, and you had the worst wrestler of the year as the AEW champion. Well, I have the worst tag team of the year as the AEW champions, the Young Bucks.
Welcome.
You are fucking piss irritating little shits. And if you were heels, great stuff. But probably the only real thing that you have claim to fame is that Jim Cornette hates you at this point. And I'm so sick and tired of people telling me. I see AEW fans again all over. Oh yeah, Young Bucks are one of the greatest tag teams to ever live. That shows how fucking retarded and young these people must be. They're not even the best tag team in their own company. They're booked that way, but they're also happen to be EVPs or whatever the fucking stupid thing is they call themselves, presidents of vice operations, or fucking whatever it might be. Their matches are stupidly overrated. The majority of them have the same fucking bullshit, over the top, unnecessary flips that even JR took to task on regular occasions. Every time someone gives them stick on the internet, they have a little cry and take their fucking Twitter down for a while because they can't handle it. I never see Tama Tonga taking his fucking Twitter down. Do you? He doesn't.
Absolutely not.
I'm sick and tired of their bullshit. They look fucking amateurish. They look trash. Those tassels, those headbands. Grow the fuck up. You're like in your mid to late 30s or whatever it is now, or even if you're in your late 20s still. Nobody should be wearing a headband with long hair unless they're sitting in a dark room wanking off ferociously and smoking way too much cheap weed. They look fucking trashy. Their matches are overrated. That match versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Page was an excellent match, but it was not a world-beating match. They have not had one this year. And also, their fucking rivalry with FTR was the most underwhelming and underutilized fucking rivalry in the history of tag team wrestling. You had literally the most perfect setup and the most perfect piece of TV gold sitting there, and you binned it because you arrogant little fuckers couldn't get over your own self. Your heel turn was atrocious. You then binned off your heel turn. You made the argument on social media that apparently heels and faces are outdated. Yeah, that's ultimately what people think when they watch these, level record-setting Marvel films. I mean, what annoys me about, Tony Stark is the fact that he's a good guy. He should be shades of grey. Fuck off. Yeah, like it's the nuances. It's the little things. They can't do them. And when you're in a company with guys like Proud and Powerful and the Lucha Brothers and everybody else that we have, SCU and even Hybrid 2 and guys like that, FTR obviously being at the top of the pile in terms of how a tag team should operate. I don't think you're close to any of those tag teams I've mentioned, and I'm sick and tired of seeing you do the same bullshit flips. The Meltzer driver. Oh, look how edgy and cool we are. We named a move after Uncle Dave, who looks like a suspiciously roided up 1970 Scott Steiner. Like, nobody cares. Grow up. Do you know what it is? It's two children playing wannabe wrestler. I'd love it if we were able to send them back 20 years and have them wrestle and inform Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson so they could snap them into and smack them around and teach them a little something. And people will say, you're just an old man who's out of touch with the business. Absolutely not. I love athletic wrestling. I think Santos Escobar is one of the biggest talents to look out for in the forthcoming future. I think there are an incredible amount of young talent. I think Jungle Boy's fucking fantastic. I love MJF. These guys are fucking boring. They're overrated. Are they fun? Absolutely. And I love them on the indies. You know why? Because that's a good level for them. They're great on the indies. Fantastic. Just because you're good on the indies doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a world-class wrestler. Nova was magnificent on the indies and even in ECW. Simon Dean, not so much. There are plenty of examples of that. So yeah, I've gone with the Young Bucks as the worst tag team of the year. Not because I think they're utterly dreadful, but because ultimately, with the position they're in, they don't fulfill nearly as much as they should. And they are actually a tag team.
Yeah, they're two frat boys sitting at the top floor of their house with the boys and some beer. It just I'm still blocked. I'm still blocked on Twitter by them because I said one bad thing about them one time.
Sensitive,
and that's all you need. Like, do I care? Not really. I'm not the kind of guy that goes, man, I'm blocked by like 18 wrestlers. Oh, yeah, because I said something dumb.
Put it down your profile, mate. Put the date down. That's what the kids do now, don't they?
I know. I talked about it when FTR first came into AEW, that them and the Bucks can't fucking touch each other for like a year. Edged me for a year for this match. And they gave it away what, like the third month?
Yeah, and they had like 4 weeks build up as well.
Yeah.
It was trash. And I'm so sick of hearing, even like my friends, Hardest Part of the Ring, I remember them talking about how much they loved it. And I was so pissed off because I thought those are good guys who know their shit better than most wrestling fans. And even they, and I thought people are just buying into this crap because they're so desperate to have an alternative to AEW. So am I. But don't fucking act as if Impact hasn't been there for the best part of 20 years and delivering world-class moments for a large portion now just because you're upset at Dixie Carter. Stop acting as if Impact has only just fucking occurred because Kenny Omega was on it. Bullshit. And that product is still better without them fuck nuggets sitting in their vans giving each other a little circle jerk. It fucking winds me up. It really does. Fuck the Young Bucks. Piss me off.
Tony Khan is Dixie Carter 2020.
Ooh,
feels like
good shout. Good shout.
Like that a lot.
He has no idea what he's doing.
No, he doesn't.
He's like, Daddy, I want a wrestling company. My friend Cody said he could help me. Okay, son, but you make sure you don't waste it and you don't get any more. I don't know what his dad sounds like, but
I love the idea that Shad Khan, who looks like basically the world's greatest Moroccan supervillain from James Bond, talks like, hey, you guys.
Just talk like Pat Albert.
Yeah, basically. Oh, Fat Khan, give me what I want. I'd rather see his dad on TV. I reckon he'd be much better at it. I want his dad to come down and just be like Vince. Be like, shut up, Tony, you piece of shit. Just beat him up on TV in front of everyone. He's such a little fucking gimp, Tony Khan, and everyone's sucking his dick. It's embarrassing. It really is. Boys, we haven't got much left, have we? What was the best show of the year?
2020 Royal Rumble. Because,
You
I
think
mean,
you know me.
well, yeah, there's that. price, but it's also the last big show with a crowd, and the crowd really resonates with me. That's why I didn't watch a lot of wrestling overall in 2020. I still watched it.
The best
But
heel
it
booking
wasn't-
I've seen ever from a champion in the modern era. Brock Lesnar going into that Rumble as a champion and a heel and wiping out everyone's favorites. Oh, he's fucking ruining it for me. You all got worked like bitches, innit? You all got worked.
I mean, yeah, like he eliminated, I think, what, like more than half or close to half.
I think he got at least a third, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Drew McIntyre, Claymore kicks him over the top, and my erection has never been larger.
And Lesnar, so he's laid out flat on the outside of the ring for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Sold it. Like Lesnar will sell if you are worth your shit. And he recognized right there that Drew McIntyre was worth it. Because you know that Lesnar could have been like, fuck you, I'm not jobbing out to him if you wanted to. And Lesnar was like, yep, no problem. Took a Claymore and Heyman's face as well. Like, it's fucking incredible.
It just,
What a
whenever
moment.
Paul Heyman, it's just like,
Might
it's
be
just-
my moment of the year, actually, was him getting eliminated from the Rumble, because I don't think anything has made me go so crazy in terms of booking.
yeah, that was unreal. Also, I guess I should have specified the men's Royal Rumble match 2020.
Yeah.
Not the, but no, that's my favorite match of the year, but we'll get to that.
That was your match.
I mean,
okay.
Yeah, the Royal. I wasn't sure if the Royal Rumble will count because I do have a backup in case it
Still a
doesn't.
pay-per-view. Depends. For me, I obviously wanted to pick, like, you know.
The Boneyard match was also pretty high up for me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. What about you, Jeremy? What's your show of the year?
Takeover War Games.
Good choice. Great choice.
Fucking
Love that.
appreciate
just the female War Games was probably the better one than the men's.
I
because
agree with
of
that. Raquel Gonzalez is
Raquel Gonzalez and Io Shirai jumping off of a fucking
In the
cell with a
bin.
fucking garbage can on her, looking like a fucking bullet. Just
I thought that was great.
fucking hilarious.
How can we psych this up more? I'm gonna put a bit on my head. That is great. It's just fucking great.
Now, don't get me
that.
wrong. The men's match was really good, but compared to what they've done in the past, it was nowhere near what they were used to.
They're
what I
running
was
out of
used to.
spots. Running out.
They
of
really
spots
are.
when you do matches like that. It's hard to top each one. The men's was fantastic. To be fair, it was still
Yeah,
well.
to be fair, like Pat McAfee, to his credit, like he's not a wrestler per se, but I mean, so like you can't expect him to do a double moonsault like Ricochet.
Oh, if we had a
But he's-
breakout star again, because I tried to
It'd be
trim down
Pat
the awards a bit. If we had a breakout
100%.
star, yeah, Pat McAfee, definitely.
Oh,
Or
yeah, for
maybe
sure.
Dominic. Maybe Dominic
Yeah,
at a stretch.
I think
but
those
for
would be
me,
only
Pat
two.
McAfee. Yeah, because
Those would be
Dominic,
the only
let's
two.
not forget, Dominic is born into this business. Pat McAfee was not. Pat McAfee was a fucking, a punter in the NFL, like, and a radio fucking sports personality, so to speak, who went and got trained the right fucking way. He thought, right, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it properly. He got trained by Rick Rogers, for fuck's sake, one of the greatest names in the history of wrestling training. Dominic Mysterio, to be fair, has probably spent the better part of the last 4 or 5 years training to be a wrestler. Pat McAfee, brilliant. World class. Not taking anything from Dominic. He's fantastic too. Really excited about his future. But yeah, no, they're good choices. So you got Takeover War Games, Jeremy, and Carl went for the Rumble of 2020. I actually have gone for a show that everyone has completely fucking forgotten. NXT Takeover Worlds Collide, which happened right at the beginning of the year. And it was fucking stacked from top to bottom with so many great matches. It was fucking brilliant. Topped off, of course, with Undisputed Era versus Imperium.
True.
It's just perfect. It's just so easy. Jordan Devlin. I know there's a lot of issues around him, but ultimately at the time it was magnificent seeing him capture the Cruiserweight Championship. You had Ilya Dragunov versus Finn Balor, for fuck's sake. Like, it was built so fucking well. And it was short as well.
Wasn't Kaylee Ray versus Tony Storm?
Yes. Yeah. It was a card that kind of, for me, really was. And the thing is, it's totally forgotten as well. I'm actually looking back at it here. Like, you got it was Kaylee Ray versus Mia Yim, Finn Balor versus Ilya Dragunov, Jordan Devlin versus Angel Garza, Isaiah Swerve Scott, and Travis Banks for the Cruiserweight title. You had DIY versus Mustache Mountain.
Oh.
Yeah, the most forgotten great tag match. I saw Carl's heart beat a little bit there. Rhea Ripley versus Toni Storm for the NXT Women's Championship, and Imperium versus the Undisputed Era. The best from start to finish for me for a show. I thought it was world class, and also having that fan base there again as well, that rabid crowd, that kind of semi-indie, semi-NXT crowd, one of the best crowds you can ask for in wrestling. Brilliant, and we really do forget just how great wrestling is in front of a live, rabid crowd. So yeah, that's my show. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't think anyone could disagree. I mean, again, the crowd is such a big part of wrestling as a whole. I mean, that's kind of why I went for the Rumble. But I mean, there was a crowd at this show too, and it was fucking unreal. That just saying that card out loud is a 5-star card for me. I don't even need to see the matches. Just on paper, it looks like a 5-star show for me. And I don't remember it very well. Might have to go back and rewatch it at some point because I have all the time in the fucking world. So I think I'm going to rewatch it. I'm looking forward to that.
Jeremy, any thoughts on that, mate?
That was a great card. I kind of remember the finish of the Undisputed Era Imperium match, and that was saucy indeed. Give me some breadsticks to dip into that sauce.
Oh, Lord almighty. What's your favorite breadstick, by the way? If you go to an Italian restaurant, which breadsticks do you have?
I mean, I'm not super picky about breadsticks, to be honest. Just
I'm assuming there's going to be a prosciutto crowd here.
I mean, I love bruschetta. Oh my fucking god!
Bruschetta is pretty good.
Give me the feta cheese and the tomato and the balsamic reduction. Oh my god, I am rock hard.
Balsamic reduction on the wrestle floor. We've reached a new height. Wow.
Speaking of balsamic reduction, my wife made some balsamic reduction Brussels sprouts with some onions on it. It was fucking amazing.
Balsamic reduced Brussels sprouts.
You ruined it with the
Where
Brussels
did you go for Christmas?
What?
Did you go to Fidel Castro's house for Christmas? What the fuck?
No. I cooked pork chops.
I say,
son.
I cooked pork chops and she made
when we were done with the Christmas dinner, we sat down and read Homer's Ulysses.
Oh my god.
Phenomenal, which by the way I have read and I don't recommend to anybody who has a life. It's a
Have
great
you ever tried
book.
to read tried to read the Divine Comedy, dude?
Yeah. And also the Chaucer's Tales. I like how we've all of a sudden become really close. Welcome to the Wrestle Plug. Or as we like to call it, the Wrestle Reduction.
I'm sorry I don't have my corncob pipe on me right now.
Yeah, I don't have my monocle. I'm very disappointed. It's like
I
the
forgot
episode
my
of
top
Future
hat.
Armor in it. I don't think you realize just how rich he is. In fact, I better put on a monocle. Great stuff. Great stuff. I do believe that we're left with 2 awards. What is your match of the year?
I spoiled mine early, but it was the Men's Royal Rumble 2020
Edge's
because number 21. I'll never fucking forget the number.
I didn't even know it was him at first. I haven't heard that music in so long, and I was watching it with Dexter, and the music went off, and I remember thinking like,
I know that
sounds really familiar. Oh! I was like that. I was like, oh my god, I'm fucking freaked, and I'm freaked now. Oh my!
I think I was at my buddy Brandon's house. He's the only guy that lives in Peterborough with me that likes wrestling, like my only friend in town. So I went and watched it with him, and he's got 4 young children at home, and the Rumble. I think the Men's Royal Rumble was the main event, so it would have been all like 9:30, 10 o'clock is. I think I woke at least 2 up when those first 3 first 5 words. I can't count. I'm so excited just thinking about it. I lost my fucking mind, and that was already after Drew kicked Brock in the face.
Yeah, it's the best book Rumble of all time, in my opinion.
100%, because
it's
Brock coming
right there with 2001 as the greatest Royal Rumble ever for me.
2001. I still like 2018. I really like that Rumble.
Is that the one that
Like,
won?
especially like the old guard versus the new guard. Like when it was the final 6, it was like Cena, Orton, and Mysterio.
Balor was in there as well.
Mysterio against Balor, Reigns, and Nakamura.
That was probably for me Balor's best ever performance as a wrestler was in that Rumble.
Mm-hmm. We could probably make a list about the best booked Rumbles or make some sort of.
It is Rumble season, ladies and gentlemen. Rumble
season. Indeed, it is.
But that match alone, it was sold on the fact that Brock Lesnar was the champion and he was going in at number 1. He's like, I'm going to beat up all you motherfuckers. And he did. He just, he'd be alone in the ring. I think the most ever got in the ring was 3, including him. I think it was Keith Lee and Braun. I think it was the most. but like just Brock's facial reactions, especially when Keith came out, Brock's just like jamming to his music, and he's like, "Man, you're a big boy."
Yeah.
Oh boy. And then that Claymore that sends him out. Edge coming back. Drew winning. It was so incredibly booked, and the crowd was so hot. It was phenomenal. And AJ also got hurt during that Rumble, which is something that hurts me a little bit. He separated his shoulder, which sucked. But it didn't matter because Edge came back. 9 years that guy was on the shelf getting ripped, being a Viking. He was shredded, by the way. Could I just say, you could have grated cheese on that body.
Yeah.
Fucking
46 years old.
I don't even look that good now, and I'll be 30 in 3 months.
I'm 36. I'm 10 years behind him, and I got a body like a fucking discarded bottle of yogurt.
This match was the best, like you said, best booked Rumble, and I'm sure New Japan had some good matches at the start of the year. Wrestle Kingdom always had good matches, but nothing compared to the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble.
Jeremy Miller. I assume there's a giveaway here, but what do you think is the best wrestling match of 2020?
The best match of the year. Obviously, the background is from Backlash, which I do not agree was the greatest wrestling match ever. I agree. I think it was the Randy Orton Edge match, last man standing at WrestleMania.
Everyone hates that except for us. Are we the only people who think that's a good match? I haven't watched that. Or maybe it's because we've got jaded memories from watching it together and having so much fun laughing together on the Xbox and that. But I thought that was fantastic to watch, and getting to see Edge in his first singles match in 9 years was magical.
And having it with Randy Orton was perfect.
Yeah, that scrub.
People were bitching because the match went 47 minutes or something.
Good.
They were complaining. Yeah, it was incredible.
The old grudge match. He tried to break his neck. He tried to end his career. Of course,
he beat up his wife.
Yeah, he fucking RKO'd his wife.
I shouldn't have popped for, but I did because we know Beth Phoenix is a fucking monster.
For a woman getting RKO'd, I lost my tits when Stacey Keebler got RKO'd. The best one for me was probably Mae Young.
I think the best one was Stephanie McMahon when he
when he gave her a
DDT'd her and then he kissed her with Triple H handcuffed to the yes.
That was because Orton's a rapist.
Yeah, that was basically the last time Orton was good until this year, wasn't it? I guess. And that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that would have been I think 2009. I think was the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. I think it was 2009.
That's almost 12 years ago.
Yeah, and he's just been kicking around the higher event scene, but I mean, we didn't give a shit until all of a sudden he's kicking Edge in the head, and we're like, Randy, you're getting pretty Randy there.
Can't believe you got Edge versus Orton. I'm not surprised. I really thought you were going to pick the greatest wrestling match of all time and just completely buy into Vince had just swung you a few dollars. Such good shit. The audacity to call that the greatest wrestling match of all time.
Well, look at how fancy Charles Robinson's dressed up in that picture. Look at him. Nice blue shirt and the bow tie. I like it.
He does look good, doesn't he? He does look shiny. Yeah. Ultimately, Jeremy, I don't want to be rude, but if you were going to put your head down somewhere, it would have been the other way. Because he sucks off Orton like nobody's business. Yeah. The best match of the year. So subjective. What do you like in a wrestling match? For me, it's got to be a clash of titans. It's got to be hard hitting. It's got to have a great level of technical execution. I feel like it's the kind of match that the crowd have to lose their tits over. It's got to be one of those matches that you almost feel compelled to chant "This is awesome" beforehand, which I will not do because, frankly, that's one of my biggest pet peeves in wrestling. But nonetheless, you want to be able to, from the get-go, feel it. Very much in the same ilk, this match for me, as when the Wyatt family, took on the Shield for the first time at Elimination Chamber, and I wet my knickers over that. And I wet my knickers. I've given it away too because it is, for me, the Undisputed Era versus Imperium. A little part of me was very tempted by some of the cinematics, actually. I had some great times watching cinematic matches, but for me, it's not quite a match, if you know what I mean. It's different.
I had an honorable mention of the Boneyard match.
Yeah, same here.
And the Firefly Funhouse. for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Firefly.
The problem with the Firefly Funhouse
So
is no
fucked.
wrestling at all. Like, although it does have McMahon as a puppet giving John Cena the business, which is probably
And John Cena wearing an NWO shirt.
that is such
like
a good
curling.
reference that nobody gets. That NWA thing is so clever because he's the modern day Hulk Hogan. It was genius. It was so well done. So well
Fucking
done.
great.
Straight from the mind of Bray Wyatt. Well done, sir. There were some really good matches this year. My honorable mention goes to Ilya Dragunov versus Volta from NXT UK, which if you haven't
Oh,
actually fucking so sexy. That is what I believe a wrestling match should be. That is probably my favorite singles match of the year, but just because of the sheer star power and the fact that it proved that you don't even have to be anywhere near the main roster to captivate all of the wrestling world. Undisputed Era versus Imperium was so good. We got to see as well guys like Fabian Eichner, just really prove themselves in a main event level, because ultimately people are looking at, Volta, and they're looking at Adam Cole and maybe a little bit Kyle O'Reilly, but Bobby Fish is a world-class wrestler who deserved to be in that position. Roderick Strong has gone from being arguably, a lot of purists used to say Roderick Strong was the most boring wrestler alive. So for him to really regenerate himself, recreate himself, and rehabilitate who he is in the Undisputed Era the way he's done has been fantastic. Everybody in that match is a world-class star. They really are. But I love Eichner. I think he's fantastic. And Volta's chops are literally seismic. They are very much they are for me wrestling's equivalent to Thanos doing that. Like that's how special they are to me. So
I've never obviously felt a knife edge chop. I would like to at some point. I would love to try and do some wrestling training. But like I'd take
sign
one.
me
Bitch.
up. Get him over here.
I'd do it. I would 100% try it. But I've been like anytime I go to a Destiny show and I hear Josh Alexander hitting some knife edge chops, like because I always buy front row because I support indie wrestling. I love Destiny. I always spend whatever I can.
Shout out to our boys at Destiny, the best that Canada has to offer.
And when I see Josh Alexander, like he's had numerous matches with Pete Dunne, which is another one of my boys. But just hearing those chops from like a foot away from me, I'm like, I felt my heart skip a beat. I can't imagine being hit with one of these. And Walter brings it to a whole new level because he's such a fucking monster.
Yeah.
His hand is
him
like
and
the
Minoru
size of my
Suzuki
head.
in a chop fest, please.
I reckon he fucks Suzuki up.
Oh man.
Suzuki,
I don't know,
like Suzuki,
man.
but I've never been fully on board with Murder Grandpa as much as everybody else is. I love him dearly, and I think I'll tell you what. I will say one thing for Minoru Suzuki, Chris Jericho. That's how you age gracefully. I'm just gonna say that's how you should be at 50. So
also one of the best themes in New Japan.
Fucking incredible. If you haven't screamed Kaze Ninore, then you haven't lived as a wrestling fan. I can hear Tanvir fapping from it. Yeah. Shout out, boy. And we'll be getting to Tanvir's picks, which I have no doubt will be laden with Japanese talent. Yeah, and which is good because ultimately that will appeal to people who aren't necessarily fans of the more North American mainstream like we are. All great choices to me. I honorable mentions as well. I have to give a lot of shout outs to some women. I think Asuka and Sasha Banks had 2 world-class singles matches this year. I also particularly love the NXT triple threat involving Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Io Shirai, which I thought was in your house.
Or no, Halloween Havoc. It was Halloween Havoc.
No, it was in your house.
No, it was in your house. Yeah.
Oh, she jumped off the house.
Yep.
Yes.
Io jumped off the house.
I mixed it up because I remember you and I talking about if they did Halloween Havoc and didn't have the pumpkin.
No pumpkin,
no
party, and we got the pumpkin. Yeah.
We did.
I was happy about that. Yeah. There were a lot of great women's matches that I really wanted to give a shout. I would be more than happy if people wanted it to do a solely women's only podcast to kind of balance that out if that's what people want. But I felt like a gender neutral podcast would be of a more fitting style for us because ultimately we respect everything equally, even midget wrestling. And my midget wrestler of the year is always Max Mini. I'll never forget Max Mini in the 90s. He was such a ledge. If you haven't seen Max Mini, check him out. His matches with Tarantula, or as they say in Ireland, Tarantula, was very much a big fucking highlight for me when I was 12 years old. That leaves us with the most important category, which I thought we'd leave till last, or second last, because let's be honest, the most important category is what our fans think, because we love them dearly. Cheap plug alert. Please subscribe to us. The Wrestler of the Year. It's the most subjective, the most divisive choice possible. And I think, let's be honest, at this point in January, we're probably the last people to do our end of year awards. Jeremy, pay attention.
I'm paying attention.
Who is the wrestler of 2020? In the worst year of mankind, who was the greatest?
As much as you people would love to say that I think Randy Orton is it, I am not going with Randy Orton. So
He's
fuck
going
you.
with Sandman, isn't he? He's going to pick Sandman.
He's only not saying Randy because he knows we both knew he would pick Randy.
Yeah.
So he's giving us his number 2 pick. He's lying.
No,
I don't appreciate.
I actually thought about this, and this man deserves everything and deserves every award possible, and that's Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Ever since the Royal Rumble, he has been on a tear, and he has been one of the best champions of, I would say, the past 5 years. So I'm hoping and praying to God that we don't see him face down, or back up, face to the fucking ceiling, and Goldberg holding the title at the Royal Rumble.
No, what you're going to see is Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania whooping his ass.
I wouldn't mind that.
That's big meaty Hoss 2. Carl Wilkinson, Wrestler of the Year 2020. You watched so much of it with me, mate.
We did. I also had Drew in my list because how can you not?
Big honorable mention on my list.
But honestly, for me, and it's not just because I think she is incredible. I think Sasha Banks is my wrestler of 2020. She had an incredible year, incredible matches. Eventually, we finally got those matches with Bayley. I mean, were they like take over Brooklyn good? No, because I don't think anything ever will be. But that being said, she still had an incredible run. I don't remember if they were still tag champs. I think, did they lose it to Shayna and Nia? I think they did. And
that was the start of their collapse.
Yeah, and I think Sasha took the pin, and that's when Bayley went bananas. Which, I could have given it to Bayley too. She's had a hell of a year too.
I think Sasha lost the Raw title to Asuka, didn't she, first? But there was kind of a controversy as to whether it was actually hers or not. She didn't technically win it the first time, did she? And then she did.
Yeah, I think it was because of the count out, because Bayley was beating up Kyrie before Kyrie left, and then she got counted in, and Sasha won the title. Bayley threw on the red shirt at the pay-per-view before that and made a 3 count in the red shirt.
And then it was that, it was when Kyrie left her last, well, I think she left the week after, but then when Kyrie was beaten up backstage, that was kind of like the last thing. Yeah, that was the last time he sort of,
And then, so she was 2-time Raw Women's Champion. She's the current SmackDown Women's Champion that she had great matches with Bayley for. She's doing great stuff with Carmella right now. I think she's just had one of her best years, if not her single best year on the main roster.
The best wrestler for me always has to be somebody who elevates everyone they're in the ring with. They must have, for me, I'm trying to think really, because I had quite a list here, because I actually think this was a real surprise year for people. Randy Orton was eligible for it for the first time in God knows how long. Drew McIntyre was probably number 2 or 3 for me, based on an incredible year and finally getting to climb the mountain. And also, when he lost to Orton, I thought, that's it, he's done. And he came right back again and won it again. And I was really proud of WWE for doing that instead of taking it away from him. I almost feel like that was okay. I was okay with that. I know it's kind of a bit cheap and people will say it was just to give Randy Orton another one, but ultimately Drew McIntyre had a magnificent year as well. There were some guys who really broke out for me, like Keith Lee had, we knew he was breaking out anyway because of Survivor Series, I think from the year before last, but ultimately one wrestler really stood out most to me. And they were able to elevate every single talent they were in the ring with. And at a time, I felt like they carried the Raw product for so long when nobody else really cared about it. And that, of course, is Drew Gulak. No, I'm kidding. Drew Gulak. My women's wrestler of the year is ultimately my wrestler of the year because I believe she transcends gender. That is Asuka. Who is by far and away for me the women's. I keep saying women's. That annoys the fuck out of me. I apologize for that. She's the wrestler of the year. She is better than everybody else, in my opinion. She is the best women's wrestler in the world, flat, period. You could argue some are slightly more charismatic. But this year, we got the opportunity, and Jeremy mentioned this earlier, we got the opportunity to see her bust her psychological chops a little bit more, her comedic side of things, the dancing, the promos, everything that went with it. And when it came down to it, she had the most complete year I've ever seen out of her. And I've always believed her to be one of the best in the world. This year, Raw was tragic at times, but I could not stop watching Asuka wrestle. She was magnificent. She was funny. She was entertaining. Her tag team with Kairi Sane coming into the beginning of the year, from the back in the year before that, the Kabuki Warriors, for me, still the best women's tag team champions they've had since they brought those belts back. Her matches with Sasha Banks were world-class, world-beating matches, the best women's matches of the year. Sasha Banks is also on my list as an honorable mention. She is, aside from being so stupendously beautiful, just so good at what she does in every sense. I actually had a small shout out for Rhea Ripley as well, who I fought really hard, but ultimately she was taken away from the product too much for me for too long to be really consistent enough. Asuka was magnificent. Everything she did made me either smile or emote in some way. Her psychological brilliance. She got a good match out of Lana, for fuck's sake. She gets a world-class match. And what I love about her is she's so genuinely kind and honest and a good person. You can see that in the way she interacts with people. And she cares that when she's in a typical Japanese style mentality, make sure that everybody is looking good in the match. Because ultimately your opponent, if your opponent doesn't look good, you don't look good. Shawn Michaels, pay attention. You know, don't get me wrong, probably one of the greatest pure wrestlers of all time in terms of athleticism and, you know, show making. But for me, Asuka is the evolution of everything you want in a women's wrestler, in a wrestler, full stop. I think she's better than 99% of any of the men who have ever walked this earth in terms of wrestling. I think she's incredible. She deserves my wrestler here. It's finally the opportunity to really stand out and say that Asuka is one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion. So Asuka is my wrestler of the year. Any thoughts before we dive into our incredible fans' choices? And boy, do we have a lot.
I don't think that's undisputed. I remember undisputed. We've talked about that a lot. But I remember earlier this year when I was, here regularly, we would always talk about Raw as shit, but Asuka makes it watchable. She has been the MVP of the crowdless era. Even sure, we have the Thunderdome now, but there's still not people in sitting down losing their minds. And Asuka has made the TV product, because that's all there is now, has made it watchable. I know Raw right now it's got some good moments here and there, but for the most part, it's a drizzling shits. That's just how it is. But Asuka always makes it fun. She still makes it fun. She will continue to make it fun. She is...
Until she loses the title tonight.
Now you're wrong. But, I'm probably not going to watch Raw tonight. I might throw it on in the background. Who knows?
Oh, well,
I love wrestling.
YouTube content in it. I've got to do it. So,
hey guys, I love wrestling.
Check out our Raw review, by the way, that I've just done.
Maybe I'll watch Raw. Maybe I can get in and try and get myself back on here regularly, because I know you guys probably don't miss me, but I miss my boys.
Really.
So
fuck off.
I was saying I miss you, not them, you dick.
Oh, bless you. You're always welcome on it, you know that.
But Asuka, I don't think I can say anything that hasn't already been said.
That's cool. Jeremy, any final thoughts before we delve into our fans' thoughts?
Absolutely good shout. That was my honorable mention.
Good shout. Good shit. Right. Let's take it to our fans and interactions. And we're going to start with my good brother, Richard Borjak, Scout of Boston United over here, and Super WWE Mark. Best wrestler of the year, AJ Styles.
Ooh.
I should point out, Richard doesn't have the opportunity to watch the product nearly as much as us, because he has a life and children and everything else in between. His worst wrestler of the year is Goldberg. Someone's clearly upset about Goldberg returning. Best, and also he completely derailed the Fiend, so fuck him. The best tag team, he's gone with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
Good Bliss Cross applesauce.
Great stuff, actually. A pick that a lot of us would have forgot. Worst tag team, Breezango.
What?
No.
It's a two-time winner, because most overrated is Bill Goldberg.
Nice, dude.
Most underrated, Dolph in Ziggler. He's putting Dolph in Ziggler. I don't know if that's a typo. If he just, maybe it's a new Ziggler that I haven't seen yet. Wow, that is something else, isn't it? I didn't think I'd hear a grouse impression that's supposed to be a dolphin.
No.
That's it. Many dolphins you get there over there in Ohio, Jeremy?
Yeah, that huge landlocked thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's so many of them hanging out.
Best
Absolutely.
pay-per-view. Richard Borjat has gone with Survivor Series.
Oh.
And he didn't pick a match of the year or most entertaining talent. So, because he says he needs to watch more wrestling. So I appreciate your honesty, sir. Any thoughts on those picks before we jump on to the next ones, guys?
I think we've been doing reactions as you say them. I don't think we
Yeah.
did
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll go with the reactions as we go. Ben Shaw has sent in his picks. Nice to hear you interacting with the podcast, sir. Best wrestler of the year is Jon Moxley. Someone loves his AEW. I know he's not a big fan of WWE, so I understand. Worst wrestler, Luther. Well done,
Fair.
sir.
Well deserved. Yeah.
Best tag team, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page.
No.
No, absolutely not.
Worst tag team. Someone doesn't like Luther. He's got Chaos Project here. It's a good choice. They're a bad tag team, aren't they? Bad tag team. Very bad tag team. Most overrated wrestler of the year is Evil of NJPW, who captured, of course, the championship.
Absolutely not.
I'm kind of okay with that.
I am as well.
I prefer
You know what?
Sonata given the choice.
Yeah, shout to Ben. Actually, I think that's a really good shout outside, especially outside of the North American product. Yeah, most underrated, Chad Gable. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely a
Okay.
really good shout. That guy could be the next Kurt Angle. Best pay-per-view, of course, he's gone with Wrestle Kingdom 14 Day 1, which is always going to be consistently world-class for wrestling. You're never going to get a bad Wrestle. A bad Wrestle Kingdom is like a great WrestleMania, isn't it? That's just how that is.
A bad Wrestle Kingdom is like WrestleMania X7.
Yeah. Match of the year, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus the Young Bucks from AEW.
Mark. Mark.
And his most entertaining talent, the Ricki B Award, goes to John Silver, which is a good choice to be.
Oh,
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so that's fair enough. Nick Payne has been in.
Oh, the
Nick
boy.
Payne is alive. He said he'll call me tomorrow, which is I'm very much looking forward to. Phone sex aplenty. Best wrestler of the year, Drew McIntyre. Good choice.
Yep.
I should point out
Yeah,
that he is very
absolutely.
much the WWE spokesperson. Nick Payne.
Yes, he
And we
is.
just had an AEW one, so yeah, we need the WWE to balance it out.
Yeah, some of these are good. I like these. His worst wrestler of the year is Goldberg. Congratulations, Goldberg. Our winner is you. Du, 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 du. We should have music in for it, shouldn't we? His best tag team of the year goes to the Rascals.
Nice.
You're learning. Well done, Mr. Payne. And he said not their NXT run, obviously. So, you know,
They've had,
shout out to
what,
him. And I know
one
he
match?
doesn't see. I was going to say, well, hey, you leave MSK alone.
No,
yeah,
I
you leave
like
MSK
they-
alone.
Fuck you, Jeremy. I love these guys.
His worst, his worst wrestler. Worst tag team. He's gone with. I don't think he's got this. Oh, most overrated. Okay, I don't think he had a worst tag team. Oh yeah, he's got a question mark for worst tag team. So he obviously didn't think anyone was that horrible. Most overrated wrestler. You'll know this if you know Nick Payne well. Chris Brooks of the independent scene and now part of DDT in Japan. Nick Payne hates Chris Brooks. Hates him, and I think that'll be his choice until he dies. Most underrated, he's gone with Darby Allin.
I mean,
Interesting. I think he's had enough of a push that I can't really call him underrated. But
he's
you know,
TNT champion.
Until he gets
that was right
away
back
from
into the year.
Sting. Let's keep him away from Sting from now on. You
Sting
know?
just looks like his
Fucking
old
Christ.
gothic grandfather that used to rock out to Black Sabbath, and now he thinks he's cool. too.
Can we just keep Sting away from the ring and in general completely? I have no use for it.
Yeah, I don't want to see him die. Best pay-per-view of the year, he has gone for the Royal Rumble, and in brackets, he's got Edge. So there you go.
Okay.
That's the best thing he's ever said on this show.
Nice.
He's in agreement.
Fantastic.
The best match of the year, he's gone for the Boneyard match. AJ Styles.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Good
I can
choice.
appreciate that.
Masterpiece. An absolute masterpiece.
It was. Great match.
And for the most entertaining talent of the year, he has gone with Y2J, Chris Jericho.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I should point out as well that Nick Payne is very much into white supremacy and obviously is very much in support of all of Chris Jericho's views. No, I'm kidding. Right, let's head
He
to the
would've gone
Wrestle
to
Plug group chat, which should be a good fun. Aaron Cruz, who of course is a professional wrestler in his own right and will be joining the Wrestle Plug for his first ever interview next week. Aaron
Oh.
Cruz, his best wrestler of the year is Kota Ibushi.
Nice.
Best tag
Good
team,
pick.
The North.
He's learning.
Worst wrestler, Goldberg, mainly due to diminishing returns, was great when he faced Brock, but I'm bored of seeing him return and beat young talent instead of passing on the torch.
Agreed.
Well
Good
said.
shout.
You can't
Very
believe
good.
this kid's 18, can you? He's very astute for his age. Worst tag team is Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Go on, son.
The
Both
boy.
guys individually are great, but as tag team champs, it never clicked for me. Match of the year is Dragunov versus Volta. A fine choice. Pay-per-view of the year, NXT TakeOver 31.
Oh. Okay.
Very good choice. And the Ricki B Award for most entertaining wrestler goes to MJF. So,
Mark.
yeah, good shout. Sam Oates has been in contact and dropped his in. His best wrestler is Drew McIntyre. Fantastic, sir. Worst wrestler, Brock Lesnar. Don't know if it counts. It does count. All your picks count. Also, Sam Oates is well fit in it, so anything he says is all right with me. Best tag team is The New Day, pretty much always. That's a good choice. His worst tag team, I'm very fascinated by, is Val Venus and Twitter. Which is phenomenal.
Wow.
I feel like I should have said Marty Jannetty
when
in
you listen to
Facebook.
this, mate, I want you back on this podcast because you were really funny when you did that little guest spot for us. I like you on this pod, mate. What a great choice. Anyone see Val Venus on Twitter lately losing his shit? He believes, a lot of conspiracy theories about COVID. He's also very much believes that Joe Biden is a pedophile. All kinds of different things.
This is like the evolution of.
The thoughts of Val Venus are not shared by the WrestlePlug.
Absolutely.
This is the evolution of Marty Jannetty in Facebook.
Oh God, yeah, that's a good pick as well, isn't it? Yeah. But I'll tell you what, next year we're going to put in worst social media debacle, I reckon, for an award.
Because Seth Rollins
Marty
won it last
Jannetty
year.
wanting to
familiar
shag
with the Marty Jannetty Facebook thing.
Didn't he want to shag his daughter? Wasn't it his daughter or something? Or some bird who was claiming to be his daughter or something? It was something like
either-
that, wasn't it?
I think it was that, and then he also admitted to murder.
Oh, yeah. And then everyone was like, no, he didn't murder anyone. Look at him. It's like,
So if
very
we had
weird.
this reward last year for like 2019, I think it would have been Seth Rollins and Will Ospreay. I think they would have had the social
absolutely.
media debacle. And then now we have oh boy.
Well, I
People
mean, to be
shouldn't
fair, we could have got Teabag and Sammy Guevara too.
I think that's the most entertaining social media.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's incredible.
T-Bar has
great.
been ruining it on Twitter. Like it's been
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, he's better at Twitter than he is at wrestling at this point. Let's just hope he doesn't, do what the last guy who was really good at Twitter did. Most overrated is I apologize for that. Most overrated is Kenny Omega. Sam Oates, you're officially my husband to be. Most underrated is Sheamus. I think that's a great pick. Sheamus has had an excellent year, particularly at the back end of the year. His stuff with Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre has been great. Sheamus is consistently world class and never gets any fucking credit because he's basically whiter than a milk bottle, and people just think he's a bit too much of a parody of himself.
Well, they just give him the Intercontinental title already, for Christ's sake,
Yeah,
so he
it's
can
like
get
the
all of
only
them.
belt missing. Give him his IC title for fuck's sake. Have him
He's
not
on the wrong brand.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, he had it out with Big E, didn't he? Before Big E picked up the IC title, could they not have just kept him there? Would have been good stuff. Best
WrestleMania
pay-per-view,
Intercontinental title match.
best pay-per-view, Royal Rumble. Match of the year, men's Royal Rumble. There you go, Sam Oates. The host's favorite. Carl Wilkinson's favorite as well. Most entertaining talent, he's gone with Asuka as well. So there you go. He agreed with all of us in some way or another, which I thought was
Yes,
very
he
cool.
did.
Yeah, he clearly knows his shit. Everyone else, you're obviously just full of shit. No, I'm kidding. Tanvir, here we go.
Oh, Jesus.
This should be a good laugh. So, his submissions for the end of 2020 awards are Best Wrestler, Go Shiozaki of Pro Wrestling Noah. I will not sit here and claim to know that he is the best. I've seen him in 2 matches. They were fucking fantastic. That's all I've seen him in. I apologize. Best tag team, The North. Well,
Good.
worst wrestler, can't think of any in particular. So I'm going to say all the cretins that were outed in the speaking out movement, as they are all horrible people, let alone wrestlers. You won't get any disagreement here from me.
No, I'm happy.
Worst tag team. Honestly, it's really tricky, but I've got to go with AEW's Chaos Project. Just a bit thrown. Fuck you, Luther. And not much point to them. I agree. Match of the year was Go Shiozaki versus Takashi Takashi Sugiura from Pro Wrestling Noah's December show, Absolute Brutality. I'm going to watch that now, based on your recommendation.
Yeah, gotta watch that one.
Yeah, I think we should do a watch. Let's all sit down and get it on YouTube and do it as a watch along. That'd be a laugh. Pay-per-view of the year, AEW's Full Gear. Really enjoyed the show with a variety of matches and styles. Fair play. The Ricki B Award is very beautifully done, actually. Brody Lee. From being the elite to Dynamite, the man has been endless entertainment, and it is sad that he is no longer here, not only to entertain or reach his potential, but that he is no longer here to be a father and a husband. R.I.P. Brody. Honorable mention for the Ricki B Award goes to Eddie Kingston, who, by the way, was also one of my mentions, which I forgot to mention earlier. Eddie Kingston was actually very close to winning it for me as well. So, yeah, thank you very much, Tanvir. A pleasure on all those things. I like it, to be fair. Cameron asked, this is typical Cam. He said, does TakeOver count as pay-per-view? I said, yeah, it does. He went, that makes things easier. And then he neglected to send any pics in. So thank you for that, Cameron.
So we can assume his favorite show was TakeOver, I guess.
I'm assuming.
Which
we'll
one?
go with
There was
TakeOver.
like 5 of them last year.
We just basically we'll pick them for him. So his best wrestler of the year is Rhea Ripley. His worst wrestler of the year is Dakota Kai. I hate you, you're scum, and she's the most beautiful woman alive. I know he loves Kona Reeves, so fuck you. What else does Kara? Best tag team, he'd probably go with Johnny Gargano and Thingy, wouldn't he?
The
Austin
way.
Theory.
Yeah, the way. He'd go with the way, yeah, definitely, because he's a bit of a fuckboy like they are. Worst tag team, he'd probably go with Lucha House Party
Breezango.
or Breezango. No, he loves Breezango, mate. Come on, he is basically Fandango in like younger form, isn't it? Like,
Can't confirm.
and then we got obviously TakeOver. Match of the year will probably be Breezango in some sort of Fashion Files clusterfuck in the shower. And then Ricki B Award for most entertaining will probably be Fandango. So there you go. That's Cameron's ones that we made up for him. Congratulations.
I was gonna say
Not
himself.
you.
He considers himself the most entertaining wrestler.
He probably would. One of the hardest hitting wrestlers in all of British independent wrestling, Eddie Kenway, has sent in his predictions. Hopefully, he'll be my future tag team partner. Look out, 350 pounds of pure Samoan sexiness. The best wrestler of the year is Drew McIntyre. He's had a bloody hard year to become the champion. Nobody has become champion in a tougher time and delivered than Drew McIntyre will. That will be his legacy for me, that he was champion when nobody else could probably do it as well. Worst, Goldberg, fine choice. Best tag team, someone who nobody's mentioned actually, FTR, who had an excellent year, but unfortunately were derailed by the Young Bucks, which is probably why it's left a bitter taste in my mouth. Worst tag team, the Street Profits.
Oh,
What is Angelo Dawkins? If I performed the way he does at training, I'd still not be booked. Interesting.
I think Dawkins has one of the best hot tags going right now.
I think he's really improved. I'm surprised by that. I'd love to see stuff, though, Eddie.
I can't agree with that. Docs.
I love Street Profits. I would have given them my tag team of the year if they'd been consistently as good as they were in the second half of the year. I must admit, when they first started, I did think Angelo Dawkins was well behind Montez Ford in terms of quality, but I think he has worked incredibly hard to catch up to him, and I think he deserves a lot of credit. He's also lost quite a bit of weight. He's looking good. Surprised, but I appreciate your opinion nonetheless. Maybe you want to contact me, Eddie, and give me a few more thoughts on that. We'll talk about it on the next podcast. Overrated is Charlotte Flair. Okay, now you've pissed me off.
Wait, what?
First of all, she wasn't on the program long enough. She had most of the year out with an injury. And second of all, she's one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. So obviously, me and you are going to have to have a massive, massive ding dong of a fight for that No Limits title you've got at CWP before we become tag team champions and run everybody over in the takeover. Underrated is Brody Lee. It's probably a good choice, actually. He probably should have done more in AEW before he sadly passed on. It always felt like he was kind of derailed, but ultimately we know now why the belt was taken away from him, I suppose. And then he was never seen again, sadly. It was a fine match to be known as for your last match, I think. An excellent match, that dog collar match. His best pay-per-view of the year was the Royal Rumble. His match of the year was the Men's Rumble. Hard to pick just one, but this was just a perfect roller coaster story. So Carl Wilkinson very much cleaning up when it comes to match of the year and obviously pay-per-view of the year with the fans. And most entertaining for him is Orange Cassidy. Hope you're good, brother. I am indeed so, or at least I'm trying such a difficult time. And thank you very much for chiming in with yours, Mr. Kenway. Alex Delanzo. Oh, yes. Part-time host of Sly Fox Sports Pod, some shitty podcast somewhere else on YouTube. And ultimately, masterful co-host co-host of this podcast, the king of Asperger's style, the sexiest man, the master of the 5-finger discount at York Hall. He knows what I'm talking about. Only 5 people will get that reference. The best wrestler is Drew McIntyre. A fine choice, sir. Worst wrestler, far too many to name for legal reasons. Good choice. Best tag team is MSK because McMahon sucks kids. Oh, that's what it's apparently that's what it stands for. McMahon sucks kids, allegedly. Worst, I like this. Far too many to name for legal reasons. He then insinuates that the billionaire sucks off children afterwards. Good stuff. We're not going to censor what we like. If you don't like it, turn the fucking podcast off. You melt. Worst tag team of the year is Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. A fine choice, sir. Most overrated is Shanna. She should be working at carnivals.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
Dude, tell us how you really feel.
She's really hot, though.
And she has Dragon Ball Z gear, dude.
Oh, yeah, definitely most overrated then. Fuck that shit. And a fucking dumb anime, grow up. Sorry, Carl. You should never have come back. You should never have come back. It's like Lost, isn't it? We have to go back.
No, dude, I'm a glutton for punishment.
We have to go back for Kyle. We have to go back, Jack.
I'm not.
Oh, fuck.
Most underrated, Eddie Kingston. Great choice.
Oh, nice.
Best pay-per-view of the year. I don't watch pay-per-view. Fair enough. Match of the year, Young Bucks versus Hangman and Omega. Wait a minute. If you don't watch pay-per-view, how did you see that? I'm on to you. Most entertaining talent, John Silver.
Oh,
I'm loving this.
Okay.
I'm loving these guys more. We should have just done this. Arthur Doom, another former podcast host. And
holy shit, I haven't heard from him forever.
The legend.
Arguably the only cool person to live in Ohio. Best wrestler, Roman Reigns. Shut up, Miller. Best wrestler, Roman Reigns, because he gets it. He gets it.
I thought about that, but I don't think he was around in the year long enough, which is the only reason I didn't give it to him myself.
Okay, I've noticed there's a trend here. So, Arthur Doom, best wrestler, Roman Reigns. Worst wrestler, whoever is facing Roman Reigns, except Kevin Owens.
Oh, Jesus.
So Kevin Owens gets a pass. Well done. Best tag team, Roman Reigns and whoever he's tagging with. Worst tag team, whoever is facing Roman Reigns and his partner, except Kevin Owens. Most overrated, whoever is facing Roman Reigns. Most underrated, Roman Reigns. Best pay-per-view, whichever one Roman Reigns main evented. That's half of them. Match of the year, every Roman Reigns match, especially the ones with Kevin Owens. Most entertaining talent, the big dog, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. I love
he knows what's going on.
Yeah, to be fair, he's not wrong. Roman Reigns is he's thinking, oh yeah, this is gonna fucking wind up Aaron. He's gonna be all over this. Actually, I love Roman Reigns now. I think he's amazing as a heel. I am.
Did you hear that he's getting new music?
I'm all for it. Just do it well. Another former co-host. I'm loving this. Dexter Richmond, Jagman, the original co-host. The best wrestler of the year is Ray Phoenix. Great choice. The worst wrestler of the year. This is obviously directed. Sandman.
Fucking asshole.
Don't get mad because you think he could out wrestle like Shawn Michaels in 1997.
That's probably fair. Best tag team, Top Flight. Too much of a small sample size, but I know Jag loves himself some flippers. Worst tag team is Jurassic Express. Probably because Marco Stunn's a prick. He's not even a human being, is he? Subhuman. Most overrated is Randy Orton. Oh dear, he's coming for Jeremy's crown as a new bitch.
He's coming for blood.
Yeah, he knows that Jeremy's now basically replaced him as the bitch of the podcast, so he's just basically laying into him more, which I like. Most underrated is Apollo Crews, the chewed up Malteser. Congratulations. Best pay per view, TLC. Match of the year,
Really?
Young Bucks versus FTR.
Dexter, I was with you until like that.
The Ricki B Award, which is something that I think he would probably love if he was still here to this day, Goroshi. So is Sami Zayn.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably our most overlooked guy of this podcast is Sami Zayn.
I've seen a picture up. You guys have seen those Bernie memes lately of just Bernie in his mittens. There's someone made one of just him sitting next to Sami Zayn. Like they're both just sitting, like Sami sitting on a chair with his arms crossed, and they just put Bernie right next to him.
Perfect, isn't it? Another former co-host, and some might say the true heart of this podcast, Steve Neal, has been in touch. Wrestler of the Year, Asuka. There you go. Worst wrestler, pretty much all the men of Brit Wres. Yeah. Best tag team, Street Profits. I think that's a fine choice. Worst tag team, Dustin and QT Marshall.
Oh,
The
the
Nightmare
Natural
Family?
Nightmares?
They suck dick, please.
Yeah,
By
he's
the
not
way,
good.
honorable mention I didn't give for worst wrestler of the year, Brandy Rhodes. Awful.
Oh,
Can't believe I didn't fucking mention her earlier.
but she's so
Most
fit.
overrated, Young Bucks. Most
Mhm.
underrated, Proud and Powerful. Because they're not
Mm.
used. They arguably are the all-time answer for that, actually. Best pay-per-view is the Royal Rumble. He's put here Royal Rumble 2000. I assume he means 2020. It's a huge mark on the Rock, so you never know with Steve. Match of the year, Ricochet versus Brock. You troll. You're trolling now. I'm onto you. He must be either that or he just thought it was really funny that everybody wanted Ricochet to win and he got squashed. Most entertaining is MJF. Oh, he's put it down underneath. Okay. In all seriousness, Volta versus Ilya was the best match I saw this year. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You got me.
Okay.
Fair play, sir. You got me.
I was hoping like we would like if he had done that, we didn't see it and just kept going. He'd be like,
Patricia
"Where'd you
Batley.
guys?"
See, women do listen to this podcast. Well, they don't. I just asked her. She said, I haven't watched a whole lot of wrestling, so please be nice to me. I will attempt to be. Best wrestler, Kenny Omega. Right, that's it. Now,
No, we got to move on. I
okay,
think,
okay. Obviously, Patricia is fucking clueless. So, next person. No, I'm kidding. Although you are fucking terrible choice. Worst wrestler, she hasn't picked one because she's way too positive. Best tag team, Motor City Machine Guns. I will accept that. Although they haven't done a great deal this year. There is no worst tag team. There is no most overrated. There is no most underrated. There is no best pay-per-view, and there is no match of the year or most entertaining talent. Thank you for your contributions, Trish. Taxi. The important thing is you tried. Brad Baker, better known to some on the British independent scene as Flynn Arlo. Very, very handsome young man, it has to be said. Best wrestler, Will Ospreay. Worst wrestler, Flynn Arlo. I like it. Self-deprecation will get you very far in this podcast. By the way, Flynn Arlo is a former guest of this podcast as well, proving that we will have everybody on. You don't have to be a big star to be on the podcast. We believe that this podcast is an opportunity for everybody to share their brand involved in the wrestling business or even wrestling personalities. Worst tag team is Ziggler and Bobby Roode. A fine choice. Most overrated is Evil again. There you go. Most underrated, Cesaro. I think probably most of North America would agree with you on that one, mate. Best pay-per-view, Wrestle Kingdom. Match of the year, Hiromu Takahashi versus Will Ospreay from Wrestle Kingdom, which was by far away for me the best match of Wrestle Kingdom. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Most entertaining talent of the year, Darby Allin. Can't wait to hear the episode. Can't wait to see your sexy face again, if I'm being honest, mate. He's well fit in it. Just saying. Let's see. Who we got left? Ethan Lee, tag team partner of Aaron Cruz, who decided to tag with Ethan Lee instead of me because he got the big push at FWP. But I'm not jealous at all. Or better. You cunt. Best wrestler of the year. He's really cleaning up tonight. Drew McIntyre. Worst wrestler of the year is Lars Sullivan. In comparison to the year he was meant to have, that's a good choice. Is Lars Sullivan? What a dick bag. Best tag team, Rascals / MSK. Again, great choice. It should be pointed out, Aaron and Ethan wrestle very similarly to Rascals in a lot of ways, actually. Very high flying, very exciting. They are known as the Flying Aces. You can check out their magnificent music video because I made it for them. Worst tag team, Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Another example of thrown together teams that deserve more. That's very true. Most overrated is Roosh. Don't know why, just can't find the hype behind him. Roosh was long-term Ring of Honor champion, Mexican talent as well. I like Roosh. I do think he is slightly overrated, though. He feels to me like a guy who would at best be Cruiserweight champion in WWE. So, but hey, Rich Swann for me was a bit boring in WWE, and now I love him dearly in Impact. So it is what it is. Most underrated, Kushida. Great shout. Massively underused in NXT so far, although we are starting to get the push, I think, that he deserves this year. He's going after Johnny Gargano's North American Championship. Look out for that in our match of the year next year. Because that's going to be fucking saucy. Carl looks like he's ever so slightly tuning out at this point.
No,
I bet he's contemplating the death of Ethan Lee. I'm not sure whether I like your picks or not. Even I shall decide. And if I don't, I'm coming from Canada.
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think I like the fact that you got left because this new shiny kid took your partner away.
Oh, what a stooge! That gets bonus points on the podcast. Kyle has overtaken
boy.
Jeremy as the official co-host of Wrestle Plug. Oh yes, there's points now.
Oh fuck! Wait,
Is it-
what? Damn it!
Please, you're always a placeholder. Shut your mouth. Best pay-per-view. Take over Portland. Good choice. That was a good pay-per-view.
That was a good show, that
one.
was.
Yeah. Match of the year: Balor versus O'Reilly. Oh, naughty. Oh, a bit of technical wrestling, sir. Oh, Suchu, sir. He's also got as his 1+ Lee versus Dijakovic.
Oh,
Good shit.
such a
Fucking
hoss
good shit.
battle.
Yeah, and most entertaining talent. He's gone with Keith Lee, which
Ooh.
very good choice. And we round it out with an absolutely gorgeous soul. Somebody I don't get a chance to chat to as much. Somebody who was actually training to be a wrestler before she became a mother. And I hope she's going to return because I'm not just blowing smoke up her ass. She genuinely is one of the most exciting and most naturalized wrestling talents I've seen in training. I've been training for a couple of years. It's Tabitha, Tab for short. Tab was genuinely one of the best trainees I've seen before she became a mother. And congratulations, obviously, on becoming a mother. That was something that she was very proud of. Gorgeous, handsome little baby boy that she's given birth to. A really awesome human being. And ultimately, somebody who I genuinely think people should look out for if she does return to training because she's just got such a great mind for wrestling. Wrestler of the Year, not surprising. I do believe this is her pick for Man of the Year in every sense. John Moxley is her pick for Wrestler of the Year. Worst Wrestler of the Year, Nia Jax. Just seems to injure everyone. Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with her injury rates, to be fair. Maybe you could take her out, Tabitha. I'd love to see that. Drop kick Nia Jax in the face. Let's see. Best Tag Team of the Year, the Young Bucks. I beefed you up so much and you ruined it.
One job.
Well, you had one job. God damn it. Worst tag team of the year, she does not know. She sums up really how poorly tag team wrestling was booked. You couldn't even hate a tag team. Let's see. Most overrated wrestler, Charlotte fucking Blair. She's put down here. What's the hatred at Charlotte Flair? What's going on here, man? She's good. She's one.
She was gone for like half the year.
I know you can't be overrated if you. I mean, fair enough. You're just using this to air your grievances, is what you're doing. Underrated talents: Lana and Rusev, easily one of the funniest pairings and such crowd pleasers. Definitely in WWE, but obviously they haven't really done any of that this year, have they? So this is more.
No,
like
Lana's been too busy getting put through a table, and Miro's too busy playing with a fucking arcade.
Well,
game.
I will say one thing in terms of underutilized. Miro is probably the most underutilized wrestler in the world. Rusev. Because AEW have no clue. He should be their champion. He's that fucking good. He's one of the best heavyweight wrestlers in.
I wouldn't mind seeing Miro go to Impact.
I'd be much
in
better
this
there.
whole brand.
Imagine
split.
Rusev versus Miro versus Moose, mate. Give me.
That
one.
was literally the first thing I thought of was Miro and Moose.
Rusev.
Go to hell.
Meaty Bulgarian versus
Sorry, what?
meaty black man. Hospital. Suchusa. Gonna drop kick him in the face, sir. 270 pounds of meaty blackness. Suchusa.
I'm sorry, Miro, Josh Alexander, anyone?
Sorry.
Oh.
We're turning the women's picks into a jizz fest. That's a little bit alarming. Best pay-per-view is probably AEW Double or Nothing. I can understand why you would say that. Match of the year, John Moxley versus Tomohiro Ishii in the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax.
Ooh.
Was that this year?
I forgot that was a thing.
If that was this year, I cannot believe I did not see that, and I need to watch that because I reckon that was a slaughter.
I thought that was last year. I thought that was 19.
Entertaining talent and wrestler of the year is Aaron Nix. Brownie points for you, madam. I shall send your money in the post. What a hero. Apparently, she just broke her nose yesterday. We wish you well.
Oh my
I don't know
God.
if she's done anything on that, but I wish you well. She's honestly hard as fuck. She'll deal with it, no problem. She's also fucking awesome. I love her dearly. And that's not just because she picked me as the most entertaining wrestler of the year, which ultimately she would be correct if it was last year, because, you know, I can cut promos unlike half the people that I work with. Yeah, I said it. Come for me, phrasing boom. And that rounds out the interactions and the picks of our incredible fans. What a fantastic plethora. That's probably the most interaction we've had in a couple of years. Really chuffed about that. Thank you to everyone for sending in your picks, including Anonymous. Insert edit here. That rounds out the 2020 awards. I think we'll leave it there. Carl Wilkinson, thank you very much for rejoining us at the Wrestle Plug. Hopefully we'll see your face a little bit more this year.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. And again, I just want to apologize to everyone. Yeah, I was, getting laid off because COVID is being a cunt again. Kind of, it fucked with me a little bit. So I just kind of needed the time to just kind of go, okay, I got to sit at home and do jack shit. What do I do? Obviously, the answer should be come entertain people on the podcast. But it was a pretty difficult time. But hopefully, I should be okay.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We all wish Mr. Wilkinson well and welcome him back on his infamous return to the Wrestle Plug. And that, of course, means we need to say goodbye to Jeremy Miller, who is no longer useful to us. Jeremy Miller, thank you very much for joining us at the 2020 Year-End Awards.
Wow! Wow. Okay, well
You're
then.
just a shit Dexter Critchman. Shit Dexter Critchman. You're just a shit Dexter Critchman.
You knew
Chelsea getting on. How's Chelsea doing? Chelsea right? Yeah, Chelsea doing well.
Fucking Chelsea. Which you'll be able to hear about Chelsea on my Sly Fox Sports podcast. Cheap plug.
Yeah. Jeremy will, of course, be back at the Wrestle Plug. We won't ditch him that easily, even though, of course, he is clearly number 2.
Which, Mr. Wilkinson, if you would like to talk hockey sometime, I'm all for you.
Just because he's Canadian, do not assume that he likes ice hockey. That is racial profiling.
No, I remember talking to him and him saying he's a Canadian fan.
You're that geezer. You're the geezer in that picture, isn't you? I bet you put a wig on. You're that geezer who was walking past when they stormed the Capitol building. You're that toss piece who was holding that fucking statue thing, isn't it? The podium. That's you, isn't it? That's your boyfriend. You're all just a bunch of closet homosexuals. That's all it is. All this massively repressed homosexuality in white man fucking Republican worlds. Britain first. Look forward to that. But yeah, Carl Wilkinson, Jeremy Miller, thank you very much for joining me for the 2020 Year-End Awards. It's been a whopper podcast. Hopefully you've bared with us, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, well, there's no point telling you now, but there'll be timestamps available in the YouTube thing just in case you want to skip to certain parts or whatever for awards and whatnot. But most importantly, I hope you're still enjoying all the content that we're providing in a very difficult time of year. Obviously, myself and Carl Wilkinson have had a lot of difficult issues, and Jeremy Miller, actually, to be fair, when it comes to employment, mental health, and stuff like that. But we still afford a safe space here at the Wrestle Plug. We like to say some offensive shit. We're honest. We like to fucking punch our card very brutally when it comes to some of that non-PC bullshit, but we are good people and we are here to support you in difficult times, so do not hesitate to contact us at WrestlePlug or the usual social media links which you're probably familiar with, and of course they're available in the descriptions of all podcasts as well. From myself, Aaron Nix, and the gang, thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you very soon for more content from... It is still the WrestlePlug, right? We haven't had to change.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think we've changed it recently, no.
Okay, cool.
No.
Okay. Yeah. We'll go with the Wrestle Plug. We'll catch you very soon for more content.
Smart plug for life.
I hate you so much.
He ruined it. You ruined it.
You ruined it. You ruined it, ladies and gentlemen. All in favor of Jeremy Miller fucking off? Saying aye. Oh dear. Have a great weekend, whatever you're doing with yourselves, gang. Love you loads.